friend, Rafael Solicito. You know that too? Well, heck, what am I doing here? I thought I'm on the cutting edge here. He was being freed. He's convicted of murder too, but he's being freed. But he's not cute. So you have to really dig deep down into any article to find out anything about him. I didn't know about this till yesterday. I'm asked. I know. I don't read everything. Where do you have to read to find out about this? I don't watch cable news that much anymore because I just don't. I know everything before it's reported there. Well, I'm telling you, I don't read a lot of splash websites. Like, I don't read AOL. I don't read MSN. I don't Facebook, Google tweet. I didn't know till yesterday this is such a big deal. And I was asking myself, okay, what's wrong with me? And then I quickly said, nothing. Not my fault I didn't know about this. This is not something I wanted to spend my time knowing about anybody. It did make me wonder where the hell I've been to not know. But I tell you, it happened. What I did happen to hear was part of the Italian prosecutor's opening statement about her, mainly because, now this was impossible to avoid because it was on every channel yesterday. He called her a sex maniac. And remember now, this is in Italy where they say, what's wrong with that? So it's no wonder she had a conviction overturned. Sex maniac, Italy? Yeah, you got a problem with that? Not here. ESPN. What? The defense compared her to Jessica Rabbit. I don't know who that is. Who's Jessica Rabbit? Who framed who's Roger Rabbit? What is well, that's why I'm saying I know she is voluptuous. That's exactly why she had the conviction overturned. The prosecutor blew it by calling her a sex maniac. And in Italy, they say, what's wrong with that? So conviction overturned. Let's move on. Shall we? Happy to have you along. El Rushbo here behind the golden EIB microphone. By the way, Starbucks, get this. Starbucks is going to start accepting donations to help the economy, according to the AP. Starting on November 1st, Starbucks will begin collecting donations of $5 or more from customers to stimulate U.S. job growth through its Jobs for USA program. I kid you not. You're going to go into a Starbucks starting November 1st. They're going to have an opportunity for you to give them $5 additional or whatever you order for a job creation program. Now, this is from a guy what's the name of it? Howard Schultz. Is that the name of the Starbucks guy? Howard Schultz. Okay, so does this guy, here he is. He's the founder, proprietor, owner, CEO, whatever, of Starbucks. Is this how he started the company, with $5 donations? You would think this guy knows how jobs are created because he's done it. So obviously it's a PR move. $5 for job creation? When you go to Starbucks, the best thing he could do is turn off all the electrical outlets and get all the slackers in there out of the store. People in there sitting there drinking 1 cup of coffee every 10 hours while they worry about what's on their computer. Get them out of Starbucks and get them over to the employment office. $5. Why not just send the money to Obama? Why worry about this? Obama knows how to create jobs. Obama's out there. By the way, I know that you're not worse. You're worse off than you were 4 years ago. I know you're not better off. We're going to play an audio soundbite today where he said if that was the case, he's finished. He's a one-termer. He knew it. Okay, I guess it's ladies and gentlemen, it's official now. All public references to Adolf Hitler are banned unless you compare Hitler to Republicans or Tea Party supporters. You can do that. But if you compare Hitler to Democrats, you are finished. As is the case with Hank Williams Jr. I'll tell you where Hank blew it. The analogy didn't fly because Hitler never played golf. Hitler was a bowler. Did you know that? Hitler was a bowler. He had a secret bowling alley in the bunker. And the reason he kept it secret was, I kid you not, he didn't want to be pestered for endorsements. I kid you not. So, I'm not making it up. The beer endorsements, bowling, yeah, he did bowling ball, bowling shoe, bowling equipment endorsements. He kept it quiet that he bowled. But he never played golf. States, get this one, folks, states that borrowed billions from the federal government to keep unemployment benefits flowing through the recession. This is the 99ers. This is the extended unemployment benefits. Wait till you hear this. States that borrowed billions of dollars from the federal government to keep unemployment benefits flowing through the recession now have to start paying those loans back. And you know what they're doing? You know how they're doing it? They are hitting businesses with new assessments and higher taxes to make that happen. In all, 27 states owe the federal government nearly $38 billion. The feds mandated extended unemployment benefits. The states went out and borrowed the money from the feds in order to pay the unemployment compensation extension. And now they got to start paying those loan backs. A total of $38 billion owed by 27 states. The first interest payment on those loans was due Friday and totaled about $1.1 billion. So the states don't have the money because nobody has any. A couple of states have the money. Virginia has some money. Texas has some money. But there aren't a whole lot of states that have any money. And what's happening here is, so the states are not going to raise taxes on businesses while Obama's out there. Get my jobs bill passed. Well, Eric Cantor, by the way, made it official, confirmed what I, your trusted and loyal host, have been telling you from the get-go. That bill is dead. The Obama jobs bill is dead as a package. It's going nowhere. It's dead in the House. It's dead in the Senate. It was never intended to be anything other than dead on arrival. It's nothing more than a campaign prop. It's the 2011 version of the Greek columns at the Democrat National Convention in Denver in 2008. Now, back to this unemployment extension. Bills are coming due now. Joe Olivo, the owner of Perfect Printing in Moorestown, New Jersey, 45 employees just outside Philadelphia, estimates that he'll pay an additional $24,000 this year in unemployment insurance taxes. He's also dealing with higher expenses elsewhere, mainly for his employees' health care. Whoa! Healthcare, shazam! So, Obamacare drove those costs up way sky high, through the roof. Obama's unemployment extensions drove the cost of the states sky high, so they're now in debt to the tune of $38 billion. The first interest payment of $1 billion is due Friday. They got to start raising taxes on businesses while Obama's out there saying, yep, I know you're not better off than you were. Eric Holder, CBS, and the LA Times have caught him in an apparent lie regarding when he knew what was going on about Fast and Furious. Both the LA Times and the AP have stories that indicate pretty much what we all thought, folks. The purpose of this program was a backdoor way to gin up negative public opinion on the Second Amendment and for gun control, and apparently Holder was well aware of it while he told people he didn't know anything about it. Meanwhile, Joe Bite Me was on our affiliate on the radio in Tampa, and somehow the subject of Van Jones came up, and Biden said, who is that? Biden said he had no idea who Van Jones is. So Van Jones, who is he? Oh, so he's just the green job czar for your administration. And Biden said, oh, really? The Biden didn't know. Still doesn't know who Van Jones was. Anyway, we've got a target-rich environment here today, folks, on the Excellence in Broadcasting Network. We'll take a brief time out here, our first obscene profit break of the day, and resume shortly, before you know it.
Listen to what the left doesn't want you to hear. Rush on the EIB Network.
I want my Al TV!
And you'll want your Al TV too.
Hi, I'm Al Gore. Remember me? Now I've got my own cable TV channel called Al TV.
Al TV, committed to being young and irreverent.
Cool, huh?
We'll discuss the issues that you care about, like global warming.
This is the sound of a cow threatening the world. They used to love that when I was vice president.
Call your cable operator and demand Al TV.
That's G-O-R-E.
Youthful and irreverent. Kind of like a radio shock jock.
With short hair.
It's Al TV.
I know you'll remember this. I'm the one who stuck his tongue down Tipper's throat at the convention.
Ew.
Tell those money-hungry cable operators you want your Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
The 1950s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
Nothing, sir.
Don't give me that. It's one of those C things.
A condom?
Don't take it out right now. I certainly hope you weren't planning to use the thing.
No, sir.
You won't now. I'm taking that C thing and destroying it.
Yes, sir, but just one thing. Don't tell my parents.
The 1990s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Yes, Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
I don't have a circle.
Just as I thought. Put this in your wallet right now.
This C thing?
It's a condom, Jimmy, and you better make plans right now to use it.
Yes, sir. I won't destroy your faith in me.
Good, Jimmy, but just one thing. Don't tell your parents.
This message has been brought to you by Bungee Condoms, celebrating 40 years of progress. From being hidden in your dad's wallet to being handed out in your schools. Bungee Condoms, where quality is more than just a word. It's a slogan.
Be an army of at least one by volunteering for duty as a DNC seminar caller. You'll receive advanced basic training from our sensitive, caring professionals.
What's your number, soldier?
1-800-282-2885.
How you gonna make it past the call screener if you don't know the number? Drop and give me 20 on the rotary dial. The rest of you, repeat after me. I love your show, and I always agree with you. And I voted for Bush.
And you'll earn promotions and medals.
Son, we're very proud of you. What's that medal for?
This one's for touch tone. This is for getting past the call screener, and this big one here is for actually talking to the host and flawlessly saying, I love your show, I always agree with you, and I voted for Bush.
Be on radio and say what we want you to say. All scripts provided by the Democratic National Committee. Help us take back our monopoly on public opinion. Volunteers especially needed from noon to 3 Eastern. Most Americans think that illegals should head back home. We used to think so too, till we realized illegals could pay 21% interest on their credit cards, just like the gringos. Introducing the all-new Bank of Amigo card. The Bank of Amigo card is the best friend an undocumented worker ever had. Packed with special features like bonus points for every day you're in our country. Good towards health care, border crossings, college education, fake IDs, and so much more. And the Bank of Amigo card is the only card endorsed by Senator John McCain.
If you need cash and can't wait till mañana, then the Bank of Amigo card is for you. Plus, the more you owe, the less likely you are to be deported.
There's no immigration check, no social security number required. Just sign your name, or anybody else's, on the dotted line.
Caramba, it's easier than sneaking in. Thanks, Bank of Amigo.
The Bank of Amigo card, because when it comes to money, we're all amigos.
Hi, welcome back. Rush Limbaugh having more fun than a human being should be allowed to have. I think that we were the first here at the EIB network to tie Dick Durbin to the new fee that banks are charging, the $5 fee to use your debit card. I think we were the first to tie Durbin to that. When the story was originally reported that there's a new fee from Bank of America, $5 to use your debit card, You know, people just have the standard reaction, yeah, it's dirty, rotten, evil, greedy banks. And I pointed out that it was all because of the Dodd-Frank Financial Regulatory Reform Bill and an amendment added to it by Dick Durbin. Now, we have a Politico story today. Dick Durbin urges customers to leave Bank of America. And I want you to stop and think about this for a second. This is the Senate Majority Whip, and he went to the floor of the United States Senate yesterday and made a speech urging citizens who are customers of Bank of America to leave the bank. Now, is this the role of United States senators? Is this the role of anybody in government to stand up in their official capacity and to tell you where you should not conduct business? Of course it's not. Who the hell does he think he is? This is not the proper role of government to tell you what bank to use. Especially what's going on here is a giant CYA. Durbin knows that this is all happening because of him, and the Politico is reporting that. Angry about Bank of America's new $5 monthly fee for using your debit card? Dick Durbin has some advice for you. Take your money elsewhere. Bank of America customers, vote with your feet, Durbin said in a Senate floor speech yesterday. Get the heck out of that bank. Find yourself a bank or credit union that won't gouge you $5 a month and still will give you a debit card that you can use every single day. What Bank of America has done is an outrage. Well, what did Bank of America do? They announced last week that they're going to soon start charging most of their customers $5 a month for using their debit card, which is a move intended to recoup the revenue. This is the Politico reporting this. A move intended to recoup the revenue that the bank will lose under new federal regulations that went into effect October 1st. Those rules, authored by Durbin, capped the amount of swipe fees which banks can charge retailers for processing debit cards. So where to begin with all of this? The so-called Durbin Amendment, which was tacked onto the already despicable Dodd-Frank bill at the last minute, is what has caused these fees to increase in the first place. And we're back again to the same old thing, dynamic versus static scoring. These central planners, these people who want to put their nose in your tent, run your life and every business's life, believe that when they issue a dictate, when they issue a new law, that people are just going to sit there and basically bend over and grab the ankles and take the pain. How many times has this kind of thing happened? These people ought to understand that when a new regulation that raises costs is imposed on a business, they're going to find a way to recoup it. It's the only responsible thing for a business to do. It's only dunderheaded liberals who expect the enemies of the state to willingly and happily just sit there, take it, and go out of business. And I mean it. Dick Durbin, the left, Bank of America, most American corporations and most American industries are indeed enemies of the state. You take a look at the Democrat Party enemies list and you'll see what I'm talking about. So who the hell does Dick Durbin think he is? A floor speech in the United States Senate telling Bank of America customers to scram? He's the one responsible for this $5 fee on debit cards. His stupid amendment. He wanted to score big points with consumers by punishing the bank. Sitting there thinking the bank's going to sit there and eat these new charges that are costs that are imposed upon them by the statist government. And when that doesn't happen, these guys got all offended like they've somehow been personally ignored. But Dick Durbin, the Durbin Amendment was tacked on to the already stupid Dodd-Frank bill at the last minute, and that's what caused these fees to increase in the first place. So if you object to this new $5 fee, your real target should be to send Dick Durbin home. Your real target should be Dick Durbin. You live in Illinois, Dick Durbin deserves to be defeated. He's the problem here, not Bank of America or any other bank. And maybe Durbin just competing with Chuck U. Schumer by trying to destroy another bank. Schumer did this, as you'll recall, when he caused a run on the IndyMac Bank in California, and thereby started a panic that probably started the financial collapse that led to the Great Recession. So I think this is just way over the top, is another great illustration of who Democrats are, how they want to literally run every aspect of your life, telling you, trying to create a run on Bank of America. Durbin is the one responsible for this, blissfully unaware of the unintended consequences of his actions, just downright plain old-fashioned stupid. We'll be back.
And now, Andy Griffith for Obamacare.
1965. A lot of good things came out that year, like Medicare. And now we got us Obamacare. And this year, just like always, you're going to have your guaranteed benefits right up until the time you get sick. So all you old angry white folks out there joining the tea parties and protesting and all, just calm down and be a good cracker. Good cracker. Tell them the new rules, Barney. Well, you see, it's like this. Here in Washington, everybody has to play by the rules. And we've developed a rule book just for you there at home. 62,528 new rules to help you through the process of healthcare in an orderly, organized fashion. Rule number 1. There are no peanut butter and jelly sandwiches allowed in any hospital day or night, 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Rule number 2. If any named insured of a qualified plan gets sick, he or she must fill out request form 24/7.
For more information on Obamacare and how it affects those 65 and older, just get sick and you'll find out.
The sale has just begun. Hi,
we're the Barnacle Brothers, and the biggest sale in our history began when you heard the clock start ticking.
It's our 60-second sale.
And you've only got 50 seconds left.
Our doors were closed yesterday.
Our doors were closed this morning.
Our doors will be closed tomorrow.
But our doors are open right now.
But only for another 43 seconds.
We got color televisions for $6 each.
We got camcorders for $3 each.
You need an entire living room set, you'll find it at Barnacle Brothers.
For only $15.
How about a car?
We got this brand new Rolls-Royce stretch limousine for only $20.
But you got to be here during the 60-second sale now in progress.
Here's a lovely mink coat.
59 cents.
And bars of pure plutonium.
3 for $1.
All during the 60-second sale, which began 40 seconds ago.
We didn't give you no warning.
We can't extend the time.
So if you want to save like never before, come to the 60-second sale at Barnacle Brothers.
We tell you how to get here, but that'd take up too much time.
Besides, if you're not here already, you ain't gonna make it.
Because the fantastic Barnacle Brothers 60-second sale,
with savings up to 99% off and more,
is now over.
And now, Saving the World with Al Gore Jr.
Hello, this is Albert Gore Jr. And as I said in the New York Times, I, for one, genuinely wish that the climate crisis were an illusion. But unfortunately, the reality of the danger we are courting has not been changed by the discovery of at least 2 very small mistakes in the thousands of pages of careful scientific research. Small mistakes happen every day. Ask Charlie Rangel. He went on vacation and had no idea who was paying for it. Nancy Pelosi thought it was okay to fly friends and family and associates to Washington and to Copenhagen so that they could be near her. Honest mistakes happen all the time. Ask Governor Patterson, who sent a couple of state troopers to a woman's house to deliver a Hallmark card of sympathy, and it was mistakenly caught up in the press as some sort of threat. Well, I say all that to say this. that honest mistakes are made every day by Democrats everywhere. What's a few degrees in temperature either way? Cut me some slack.
Join us next time as we once again save the world with Al Gore Jr.
And we're back. Rush Limbaugh, the cutting edge of societal evolution. In Dick Durbin lingo, don't go to the bank on this, but I just found something during the break. It looks to me like I found pictures of the new iPhone on Apple's website called the 4S, and it just looks exactly like the current iPhone 4. So I went to the web address and took the S out of the address, just iPhone 4. And same picture, just different shadowing. So for those of you following this, at least one of the new phones, if there is more than one, I don't know if they're going to be more than one, but the biggie, the 4S, appears to be identical in appearance to the current. Well, yeah, the inside's supposedly going to be different. Yeah. So far, no surprises here. So far, no surprises. The inside, yeah, that's where all the improvements are, the software, the guts, and so forth. At any rate, one other thing about Durbin, this Bank of America business, folks. Oh, yeah. HR says 2 press conferences I've just destroyed. Chris Christie and now Apple's. Well, that's exactly right. I want the audience to stay here. If I can find out what Apple's going to say before they say it, there's no reason for you to go to Apple. By the way, Apple is not live streaming their event anyway, so we couldn't jip it. We wouldn't anyway. But there's no live streaming. No, we would not jip it. Have we ever jipped an Apple press conference? We've never jipped an Apple press. No, we wouldn't jip this. I would not say a word about it. I would describe the new iPhone. Yeah, I probably would, but they never do televise these things. They always wait until afterward and they release a keynote video. I mean, they stream for promote it like Wolf Blitzer would, countdown to the Apple iPhone event. Anyway, just the iPhone 4S is the same exact phone on the outside. Same exact phone as the current iPhone 4. And what about back to Durbin now? Where is the Democrat National Convention next summer? It's in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, Charlotte, North Carolina happens to be the world headquarters of who? Bank of America. So here is Dick Durbin, less than a year from the Democrat National Convention, telling customers to leave Bank of America. And Bank of America, I'm sure, is probably heavily invested in the Democrat National Convention, if for no other reason than protection money. And it works. Tell me who isn't afraid of government. Tell me who's not afraid of this regime. I really do. I find this so illustrative, folks, so instructive of who we're dealing with. Who are these people? Who do they think they are? Come up with this stupid amendment that will exclusively punish Bank of America, think that Bank of America will just sit there and take it. And then when Bank of America says, you know what, we've just had our costs go up and we have our own fiduciary responsibility to our shareholders and our bottom line, so debit card transactions now will be charged at $5 because of action taken by the Dodd-Frank bill. The real culprit here, the reason your banking costs go, the reason your cable bills are what they are, is because members of Congress and the Senate, like Durbin, get involved and try to tell these companies how to run themselves and come up with this legislation that's supposed to be punitive. This was supposed to punish Bank of America. The whole banking industry, the premise that banks do nothing but screw people. And so these guys are the Robin Hoods. They're the guys on the white knight. They're not on a white horse. They're going to come in. They're going to make it all better for everybody. And then when it backfires, and it's no different. Remember when the regime signed into law Obamacare, there were a couple, maybe three large corporate entities, I forget who they are right now, immediately said, we have to take a $1 to $2 billion write-down on our future revenues because of the law requirements in Obamacare. Henry Nostrilitis Waxman heard this and sent threatening letters to the CEOs of these corporations demanding that they round up all relevant documents and appear before his committee to explain themselves. And it turns out that all these corporations were doing was adhering to the law. Whenever legislation is passed, companies must apply changes in that law in that quarter, not when the law is implemented, but when it's passed and signed. Because of that, these small and large corporations started taking write-downs and charges that the law would now impose on them, and Waxman was totally ignorant of this. He thought that it was a bunch of right-wing conservative business people who were trying to pull a fast one, blame Obamacare for big financial losses that were ahead for them. And then somebody said, no, Congressman Waxman, this is the law. You probably voted for it. So he backed down and canceled all of this. But here was a clear illustration of the regime in action. And so is this. So you sit there, you work at Bank of America or you run Bank of America, and you've got a United States senator on the floor of the Senate urging Bank of America customers to leave. I mean, it's just over the top. And it is by no means what serious United States senators ought to be doing. Check this, AP. To the dismay of consumer groups and the discomfort of Democrats, President Obama wants Congress to make it easier for private debt collectors to call the cell phones of consumers who are delinquent on student loans and other billions they owe the federal government. The change is, quote, expected to provide substantial increases in collections, particularly as an increasing share of households no longer have landlines and rely instead on cell phones, the regime wrote recently. The Little Nost recommendations would apply only to cases in which money is owed the government and is tucked into the mammoth $3 trillion deficit reduction plan the president submitted to Congress. What $3 trillion deficit reduction plan? There is no such thing. There is no such thing as a $3 trillion deficit reduction plan. What is that? Anyway, the bottom line is the regime, to the dismay of consumer groups and even the discomfort of Democrats, Obama wants Congress to make it easier for private debt collectors to call the cell phones of consumers who are delinquent on student loans. Robocalls, if you will, to your cell phone. You know the solution for this? You want people to start repaying their loans? Jobs. The reason people aren't repaying their loans is because they don't have jobs, Mr. Obama. The reason they're not able to go out and engage in commerce and grow the economy is because they don't have jobs, Mr. Durbin. You want people to repay their loans? You want businesses to start hiring people? Leave them alone. It's that simple.
Wonders of Rush will continue on the EIB network.
I want my Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
And you'll want your Al TV too.
Hi, I'm Al Gore. Remember me? Now I've got my own cable TV channel called Al TV.
Al TV, committed to being young and irreverent.
Cool, huh?
We'll discuss the issues that you care about, like global warming.
This is the sound of a cow threatening the world. They used to love that when I was vice president.
Call your cable operator and demand Al TV.
That's G-A-L.
Youthful and irreverent. Kind of like a radio shock jock.
With short hair.
It's Al TV.
I know you'll remember this. I'm the one who stuck his tongue down Tipper's throat at the convention.
Ew.
Tell those money-hungry cable operators you want your Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
The 1950s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
Nothing, sir.
Don't give me that. It's one of those C things.
A condom?
Don't take it out right now. I certainly hope you weren't planning to use the thing.
No, sir.
You won't now. I'm taking that C thing and destroying it.
Yes, sir, but just one thing. Don't tell my parents.
The 1990s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Yes, Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
I don't have a circle.
Just as I thought. Put this in your wallet right now.
This C thing?
It's a condom, Jimmy, and you better make plans right now to use it.
Yes, sir. I won't destroy your faith in me.
Good, Jimmy, but just one thing. Don't tell your parents.
This message has been brought to you by Bungee Condoms, celebrating 40 years of progress. From being hidden in your dad's wallet to being handed out in your schools. Bungee Condoms, where quality is more than just a word. It's a slogan.
Be an army of at least one. By volunteering for duty as a DNC seminar caller, you'll receive advanced basic training from our sensitive, caring professionals.
What's your number, soldier?
1-800-282-2885.
How you gonna make it past the call screener if you don't know the number? Drop and give me 20 on the rotary dial. The rest of you, repeat after me. I love your show, and I always agree with you. And I voted for Bush.
And you'll earn promotions and medals.
Son, we're very proud of you. What's that medal for?
This one's for touch tone. This is for getting past the call screener, and this big one here is for actually talking to the host and flawlessly saying, I love your show, I always agree with you, and I voted for Bush.
Be on radio and say what we want you to say. All scripts provided by the Democratic National Committee. Help us take back our monopoly on public opinion. Volunteers especially needed from noon to 3 Eastern. Most Americans.
You know, who's going to break the news to these college kids that are protesting Wall Street? They're down on Wall Street for 2 weeks. They're all over the country. They're protesting. All these students. You know, I've got a list of the demands of these lunatics. Well, I mean, it's just amazing. I just want to know who is going to tell them that Obama is going to ramp up collections on them. They're down there saying that we ought to forgive every dollar of debt in the world. Just retire it. Just pretend that it doesn't exist. We're not going to do that, obviously, but so Obama has asked Congress for more power for debt collection agencies to go after deadbeats like these kids hanging around Wall Street on their student loans by calling their cell phones. Proposed list of demands for the Occupy Wall Street movement. Demand 1 is restoration of the living wage. This demand can only be met by ending free trade, by reimposing trade tariffs on all imported goods entering the American market. Demand number 2, institute a universal single-payer healthcare system. To do this, all private insurers must be banned from the healthcare market, as their only effect on the health of patients is to take money away from doctors, nurses, and hospitals. Demand number 3, guaranteed living wage income regardless of employment. Why even go to school? Why care about education? And why worry about employment if you're demanding a guaranteed living wage? Demand number 4, free college education. Why? Why do you need free college education if you're going to get a living wage and you don't have to work, why go to college? Let's just ban college. In fact, let's disband colleges. Let's put them out of business. Demand number 5, begin a fast-track process to bring the fossil fuel economy to an end. Hey, dodo heads, that's happening. You young skulls full of mush down there making absolute jokes of yourself. That's already happening. This regime is doing everything it can to put the fossil fuel industry out of business. Demand number 6. $1 trillion spent in infrastructure, water, sewer, rail, roads, and bridges, and electrical grid spending now. Demand number 7, $1 trillion in ecological restoration, planting forests, reestablishing wetlands, and the natural flow of river systems, and decommissioning of all of America's nuclear power plants. Demand 8, racial and gender equal rights amendment. Demand 9, open borders immigration. Anybody can travel anywhere to work and live. Demand number 10, bring American elections up to international standards of a paper ballot, precinct counted and recounted in front of an independent and party observer system. Demand 11, immediate, across the board, debt forgiveness for all. Debt forgiveness of sovereign debt, commercial loans, home mortgages, home equity loans, credit card debt, student loans, personal loans, now. All debt must be stricken from the books. World Bank loans to all nations, bank-to-bank debt, all bonds and margin call debt in the stock market, including all derivatives or credit default swaps. All $65 trillion of them must be stricken from the books. And I don't mean debt that's in default. I mean all debt on the entire planet, period. You like that one? All right, let's do that. Let's just forgive all debt. Just wipe all debt out. Nobody owes anybody anything anymore. Get rid of it. Okay, demand number 12, outlaw all credit reporting agencies. Demand 13, allow all workers to sign a ballot at any time during a union organizing campaign or at any time that represents their yay or nay, having a union represent them in collective bargaining or to form a union. Why does this matter when nobody's going to have to work? Because up earlier it said demand 3 is a guaranteed living wage regardless of employment. So why do you even need unions? Why do you need any? You're going to get rid of debt? Why do you need any? If you get rid of debt, you don't need to worry about all the rest of this. These demands, this ends up. These are the proposed list of demands for Occupy Wall Street movement. Posted by a guy named Lloyd Hart at OccupyWallStreet.org. And what do you bet this thing links back to Move America Forward or some other White House-related place? Anyway, the last line, after all the demands, these demands will create so many jobs it'll be completely impossible to fill them without an open borders policy. Look, we laugh. Let me tell you something, though, folks. They believe that, let me tell you something. They are being taught this. There are adult college professors who teach this crap. Now, where do you think these lunkheads get this stuff? They didn't come out of the womb thinking this. I kid you not. They are being taught this in the deep, dark crevices of academe and peer pressure and everything else. But this is so nonsensical. What does it matter how many jobs are created when everybody gets a living wage regardless of employment? And of course, no, I know. Where does the money come from to give everybody a living wage? They don't care. Who cares? If you just make the law that everybody gets a living wage, it's just going to happen. It'll just happen. Let's see. Do I have? Yeah, Jay in Sacramento, my adopted hometown. As we grab a phone call quickly here. Hello, sir.
Hello, Rush.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, hi. Real exciting to talk to you, my friend.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Hey, listening to you talk about the Durbin Amendment this morning made me think you're only getting about half of the story. The smaller banks of assets less than $10 billion haven't had any effect on their rates that they charge the merchants at all for the card swipes.
Yeah.
So when they're telling the consumer, leave Bank of America, go to your local banks that aren't going to charge you the fees.
Right.
Your merchants, which is again another damper on business, are going to still be charged these higher rates. And the whole thing to me is it's ludicrous.
It's worse than ludicrous. I mean, it is ludicrous, but it's worse than that.
And no one knows. The larger banks have more outlets throughout the country, so there's more access to the consumers. Whereas your small local banks, like your community credit unions, don't.
This is not about the banks. I mean, I don't want to be misunderstood here. I'm not writing a brief for the banks, and I'm not trying to come defend them, folks. Don't misunderstand me on this. I don't use Bank of America. I don't know anybody there. That's not the point here. The point is the actions of a single U.S. senator who made all this happen himself. His stupid amendment is the reason this is happening. And he knows it. He didn't have the guts, the gonads, to admit that, so he cowardly goes to the Senate floor to hide behind the power of his office and start creating a run on Bank of America. All to cover his lily white rear end. This is not the purpose of the United States Senate, nor the purpose of individual United States senators. But this is who the Democrat Party is. This is what statism looks like. I gotta go. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Hear it now. Read about it in the paper tomorrow. Rush on the EIB network.
I want my Al TV.
And you'll want your Al TV too.
Hi, I'm Al Gore. Remember me? Now I've got my own cable TV channel called Al TV.
Al TV, committed to being young and irreverent.
Cool, huh?
We'll discuss the issues that you care about, like global warming.
This is the sound of a cow threatening the world. They used to love that when I was vice president.
Call your cable operator and demand Al TV.
That's G-O-R-E.
Youthful and irreverent. Kind of like a radio shock jock.
With short hair.
It's Al TV.
I know you'll remember this. I'm the one who stuck his tongue down Tipper's throat at the convention.
Ew.
Tell those money-hungry cable operators you want your Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
The 1950s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
Nothing, sir.
Don't give me that. It's one of those C things.
A condom?
Don't take it out right now. I certainly hope you weren't planning to use the thing.
No, sir.
You won't now. I'm taking that C thing and destroying it.
Yes, sir, but just one thing. Don't tell my parents.
The 1990s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Yes, Jimmy. Take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
I don't have a circle.
Just as I thought. Put this in your wallet right now.
This C thing?
It's a condom, Jimmy, and you better make plans right now to use it.
Yes, sir. I won't destroy your faith in me.
Good, Jimmy, but just one thing. Don't tell your parents.
This message has been brought to you by Bungee Condoms, celebrating 40 years of progress. From being hidden in your dad's wallet to being handed out in your schools. Bungee Condoms, where quality is more than just a word. It's a slogan.
Be an army of at least one. By volunteering for duty as a DNC seminar caller, you'll receive advanced basic training from our sensitive, caring professionals.
What's your number, soldier?
1-800-282-2885.
How you gonna make it past the call screener if you don't know the number? Drop and give me 20 on the rotary dial. The rest of you, repeat after me. I love your show, and I always agree with you. And I voted for Bush.
And you'll earn promotions and medals.
Son, we're very proud of you. What's that medal for?
This one's for touch tone. This is for getting past the call screener, and this big one here is for actually talking to the host and flawlessly saying, I love your show, I always agree with you, and I voted for Bush.
Be on radio and say what we want you to say. All scripts provided by the Democratic National Committee. Help us take back our monopoly on public opinion. Volunteers especially needed from noon to 3 Eastern. Most
Okay, we got to take a quick time out here. Chris Christie's announcement's coming soon, but it's widely known, or reported, I should say, that he's going to announce he's not running again. The Apple iPhone 4S has been outed by a Japanese Apple website. Goes on sale October 14th. In Japan, anyway, at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Attention Newsweek readers, there's never been a better time to receive or renew your subscription to Newsweek.
Wow, I haven't read that liberal rag in years.
What if we told you about our new amazing subscription offer that not only guarantees you'll have an entire year of Newsweek delivered right to your door, but it also makes you a publishing magnate.
Okay, I'm game.
For only $19.99, you'll receive an entire year of the slightly slanted news coverage, opinion, and interviews you'd expect from Newsweek.
I'm not sold yet.
And by checking our special Buy the Magazine box on the bottom of your subscription card, we'll give you the entire magazine for only $1.
Yeah, I'm getting a year's worth of the magazine.
No, you're taking the entire Newsweek operation, staff, printing press, and our debt.
Newsweek, huh? Hey, you got a deal on Playboy?
For this amazing Newsweek offer, call 1-800-BROKE-RAG. That's 1-800-BROKE-RAG. Newsweek, another failed institution of the liberal media.
Wow, another tough day in the market. Are you tired of all the risk? Want to invest in a sure thing? Then do what all my friends do. Invest in green jobs.
Be part of the green power revolution of wind, solar, and perpetual motion sweeping America.
I know what you're thinking. Investing in unproven technologies and startup companies with shaky finances is dangerous. But not if you're one of my close friends. Your investment is protected the Chicago way. Backed up by the full faith and credit of somebody else, the United States government.
Close friends are required to raise significant funds for the re-election of President Barack Obama. Only bundlers of $1 million or more will qualify for this exclusive offer. Act now to get in on this risk-free investment, guaranteed by the United States government.
In today's investment world, it pays to be one of my friends.
Paid for by friends to re-elect President Obama and what's left of the Solyndra Corporation. Big Deal Productions presents the next chapter in the Lord of the Bling series, Return of the Bling. As joblessness fills the land, Sergeant Wasserman Schultz leads an army of media orcs, while Lord Barry, the Wizard of Smart, uses his amazing supernatural powers of persuasion against the Republican leadership.
If I can't borrow more money, bad things will happen.
Okay. Here.
Whoa, thanks. Michelle and I will be at the mall if you need us. Bye.
Return of the Bling. With John McCain as John McCain.
Just vote for it, you stupid Tea Party hobbits.
I think we need to read it first. Yeah, it might not be constitutional.
Oh!
Harry Reid as Gollum.
Nasty hobbitses. Leave my precious alone.
Oh, Harry, I didn't know you cared.
Return of the Bling.
And I want 2 of them, and 6 billion of those, and 15
Same Obama, different day. Return of the Bling. Playing out in Congress.
Now, if I buy this, will you throw that in too? Well, oh, wait a minute. I got the money. What am I thinking?
Now a message from President Barack Obama about today's ATF.
My fellow Americans, in the past, the ATF just regulated the sale of alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Pretty boring. But under my administration, we've expanded their mandate to boost the nation's economy with cool new programs like Operation Fast and Furious, where we sold over 2,500 illegal firearms on the Mexican border in record time. Operation Blackout. To help sell new cars, we gave away free cases of liquor to anyone buying a government motors car with a DUI conviction and a suspended license. And Operation Puff More. We need a new generation of smokers to pay taxes. So we rewarded Atlanta school children for their good grades with a carton of smokes.
Today's modern Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. Who knows what they'll do next?
Holder, put that bottle down and leave that alone.
Now, a message of fairness from President Barack Obama.
To move our nation forward, we have often used affirmative action to right the wrongs of past discrimination. Now is the time to complete our nation's journey by ending discrimination of the ugly.
Studies show that the ugly are likely to earn 10 to 15% less than their counterparts at work. And the aesthetically challenged are shut out from some occupations entirely, like lingerie models.
I'm sorry, I'd love to hire you, but we don't have anything in your size. Ever.
Barack, did you hear this, man? Yes, dear.
Movie stars.
What does Ben Affleck got that I don't have?
Well,
Changing the law may even bring some social benefits beyond the workplace.
Mr. Flint, Miss Pelosi is here for the December issue cover shoot.
Oh, close it down. I quit.
For more information on how you may qualify for Uglo American Affirmative Action, contact your representative or the nearest mirror.
Discrimination. It's an ugly thing.
Now, an official announcement by our dear leader Barack Hussein Obama.
Every day, people all across America are spreading vicious stories and taking my name in vain. To get reelected, we must fight against the truth that blocks our way. That's why I created AttackWatch.com, a website devoted to shutting down the free expression of all subversive, counter-revolutionary ideas. A place where you can report those who spread rumors, nasty emails, and public utterances attacking me. If you love me, you'll turn in anyone engaged in these types of activity. Friends, family, associates, children, anyone.
If you're tired of hearing how President Obama single-handedly screwed up the economy, hijacked healthcare, mishandled foreign policy...
That's enough!
Drop the ball!
I'm turning you in!
Wanted old people to take a pill and
AttackWatch.com. We're watching you.
Well, there it is. Chris Christie says this is not my time to run for president. Now we'll wait to see if he says it's his time. He's already said it's not mine. Just kidding. He was referring to himself. Okay. I guess I let my ego get away with it. So why would he call a press conference to announce my intentions? Governor Christie, this is not my time to run for president. Bill Kristol of the Weekly Standard, left standing in the altar yet again. Greetings and welcome back. Rush Limbaugh serving humanity, executing assigned host duties flawlessly. Zero mistakes. Let's see. What is this? Somebody sends me a note. Christie's blaming Bush for having to reconsider. Barbara Bush, maybe. I don't know. He's, I think, maybe he was rethinking it. He said no, then he started rethinking it because he was, I guess, asked to do so by Barbara Bush called his wife. Say, hey, it's not that bad being first lady. Don't get the wrong idea by what you see now. You don't have to dress up weird ways and go to Target. Being first lady is really cool. I think that's what Barbara Bush told her. You don't have to have a vegetable garden in the back that other people run any that thing. It's really cool. You can worry about kids reading and kids getting fat. You can partner with the NFL on exercise. You don't have to do this stuff that they're doing now. But apparently that wasn't enough. This is going to be disappointing to a lot of people. A lot of people were hoping it would be something else. We had a story yesterday that Christie's donors were being asked to show up in Trenton Thursday. And I remember asking, who assembles their donors for an announcement like this? You do that behind the scenes. You get your supporters out there. Anyway, mentioned this at the top of the program. It's in the Washington Post today. The jobs bill is dead. Post writer, it's not much of a surprise, I guess. The American Jobs Act never had a particularly good chance of passing the House. But as of yesterday, it's officially dead. Majority Leader Eric Cantor isn't even pretending the two sides will work something out, because he said the $447 billion jobs package as a package is dead. He said, yep, that's true. It never was. I told you this a month ago, and I'm not doing an I told you so here. It's just patently obvious. You probably knew it too. This was never even intended to pass. This is always intended to be an effort to make it look like the Republicans don't want to work with the president. The Republicans want him to fail. The Republicans don't care about jobs. However Obama wants to frame it. The purpose was to put something up there that they would no way vote for. Communist Party USA, to the extent that you might care, I mean, it's not as big a fringe group as you think, folks. The Communist Party USA and the Democrat Party and the unions are linked very closely together, and the Communist Party USA is going to riot for Obama's jobs bill. They say that they intend to riot. I'll get the email here in just a second. The web page, I'll print it out here in just a second at the break and give you the details on that. A funny piece, Ruth Marcus, writing in the Washington Post, if Chris Christie were a woman. On the subject of Chris Christie's weight, she begins, if he were a woman, we wouldn't be talking about his weight. Now, you might think that's because it'd be too dangerous to go there, mentioning a female politician's weight. No, although that's true, too, that wouldn't be what's going on. And she has a point. Well, no, she's got a point here when she says that it would be too dangerous to go there, mentioning a female politician's weight. There's no win-win there. You ever seen anybody go after Barbara Mikulski on that basis? No. Have you ever seen? Well, I mean, take your pick. I mean, it just doesn't happen out there. She's got a point, but that's not where she's ultimately. Yeah, but not their weight. She's right about that. Anyway, Ruth Marcus says we wouldn't be having this discussion about Christie's weight if he were a woman, because he wouldn't have been elected governor if he was a fat woman. That is her point. Party leaders, wealthy donors certainly wouldn't be beseeching her to run for president. Appearance matters in politics for male and female candidates, but it's an inescapable fact of political life that for female candidates, appearance matters more. I submit it doesn't. Successful female politicians need to be modeled thin. Yeah, where? Show me one. Show me one. Show me a model thin female politician. Okay, let's see if we can count. I bet you can count them on one hand. Snurdly's looking at me and said, don't go any further. No, this is wrong. Successful female politicians needn't be model thin, but cringe at the thought of sitting next to them on an airplane. Levels of obesity are rare among women in politics. In a potential presidential candidate, being as fat as Christie would be unimaginable for a woman. It's no accident, although it is bad political manners to mention it. The two most prominent women in the Republican Party today, Sarah Palin and Michelle Bachmann, are trim and attractive. Christie's weight is no doubt unwanted political baggage. So, what wrong about what? By the way, she says, this is not a complaint. Not a complaint, just a simple observation of reality when it comes to politics. Yeah. Well, she's no. I mean, I didn't make myself clear. She's saying that Christie could get away with being fat because he's a guy, but a fat woman couldn't get away with it. Couldn't be elected, wouldn't be respected, all that. Again, it's gender politics. It's taking an issue that's irrelevant and making a big issue out of it and running around making a grievance out of something that doesn't exist. There isn't a fat woman running. The country has not rejected a fat woman because she's fat. Ruth Marcus is making something up out of whole cloth here just to further feminist identity politics. And by the way, she's wrong. And you and I can cite the examples if we wanted to spend the time to do so. I don't. Doesn't matter to me, but she brought it up. So I wanted to mention to you, if you are in St. Louis today, beware. Obama is headed to town. Now, the Cardinals have a playoff game with the Phillies today. Obama is in town for a pair of fundraisers, including a reception at the Renaissance Grand Hotel that begins an hour after the baseball game between the Cardinals and Phillies starts tonight. And after that reception, which is downtown near the stadium, Obama will head over to the Lindell Boulevard home of Tom Carnahan. $25,000 a person dinner. Tom Carnahan is the son of the late governor, the son of the widow Carnahan, who replaced Mr. Carnahan. But here's something interesting about Tom Carnahan. And you might be saying, Rush, why are you... I know you don't care about traffic in St. Louis because you're not going to be there. That's right. $25,000 a person dinner at Tom Carnahan's house. Tom Carnahan received millions of dollars in loan guarantees from Obama for a fake solar energy company. Think Solyndra. I don't think it's as much money, but this is the money laundering operation. Tom Carnahan gets money from Obama for a fake solar company and then hosts a fundraiser for Obama. So the money, that's taxpayer money that Tom Carnahan got. That's your and my money that Obama's giving away in loan guarantees to a fake solar firm. Then he heads into St. Louis for a $25,000 a plate fundraiser. He's getting the money back. So what Obama has done, and numerous times, is generate campaign contributions that are taxpayer dollars. You give the money to a fake business. The business holds a fundraiser. The fundraiser is for Obama. The money originally from the Treasury to the fake business, at the end of all this, a portion of it ends up with Obama. I know it's a circuitous route, but we haven't gotten to the point where Obama can write himself a personal check from the U.S. Treasury. So this is how he does it. This is how he does it. This is money laundering operation, pure and simple. And you remember now, Obama was in Raleigh, North Carolina recently, where all the bridges were about to fall down. And it created a traffic nightmare. And so the same thing's going to happen. He's going to be out there on Lindell Boulevard after being downtown. Phillies Cardinals playoff game going to be a mess, more so than usual. Be right back.
Rush Limbaugh, bringing America the truth on the EIB network.
I want my Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
And you'll want your Al TV too.
Hi, I'm Al Gore. Remember me? Now I've got my own cable TV channel called Al TV.
Al TV, committed to being young and irreverent.
Cool, huh?
We'll discuss the issues that you care about, like global warming.
This is the sound of a cow threatening the world. They used to love that when I was vice president.
Call your cable operator and demand Al TV.
That's G-O-R-E.
Youthful and irreverent. Kind of like a radio shock jock.
With short hair.
It's Al TV.
I know you'll remember this. I'm the one who stuck his tongue down Tipper's throat at the convention.
Ew.
Tell those money-hungry cable operators you want your ALTV.
I want my ALTV.
The 1950s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
Nothing, sir.
Don't give me that. It's one of those C things.
A condom?
Don't take it out right now. I certainly hope you weren't planning to use the thing.
No, sir.
You won't now. I'm taking that C thing and destroying it.
Yes, sir, but just one thing. Don't tell my parents.
The 1990s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Yes, Jimmy. Take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
I don't have a circle.
Just as I thought. Put this in your wallet right now.
This C thing?
It's a condom, Jimmy, and you better make plans right now to use it.
Yes, sir. I won't destroy your faith in me.
Good, Jimmy, but just one thing. Don't tell your parents.
This message has been brought to you by Bungee Condoms, celebrating 40 years of progress. From being hidden in your dad's wallet to being handed out in your schools. Bungee Condoms, where quality is more than just a word. It's a slogan.
Be an army of at least one by volunteering for duty as a DNC seminar caller. You'll receive advanced basic training from our sensitive, caring professionals.
What's your number, soldier?
1-800-282-2885.
How you gonna make it past the call screener if you don't know the number? Drop and give me 20 on the rotary dial. The rest of you, repeat after me. I love your show, and I always agree with you. And I voted for Bush.
And you'll earn promotions and medals.
Son, we're very proud of you. What's that medal for?
This one's for touch tone. This is for getting past the call screener, and this big one here is for actually talking to the host and flawlessly saying, I love your show, I always agree with you, and I voted for Bush.
Be on radio and say what we want you to say. All scripts provided by the Democratic National Committee. Help us take back our monopoly on public opinion. Volunteers especially needed from noon to 3 Eastern. Most Americans.
Executing assigned host duties flawlessly, Rush Limbaugh having more fun than a human being should be allowed to have. Let's go to Chicago. James, hi. Great to have you on the program. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Rush. Before I get to my main point, your list of the demands of those guys for the stock market stuff, where was legalized pot on that? Shocked that wasn't in there. But you were discussing Durbin earlier. I'm from Chicago. I can't stand the guy. I think he's a total tool. But in regards to his comments about Bank of America, I have Bank of America. I didn't originally sign up with them. I had LaSalle Bank. They got bought out by Bank of America. Now they want to charge you $15 a month if you want to see a teller. Now it's another $5 a month to use an ATM fee. It's just getting to the point where it's outrageous. You should not be charging people to have access to their money, especially since you're making money on every end of it.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. You think that? Fine. Find another bank.
Trust me, I'm in the process of looking, but I don't see. I mean, I said I don't like the guy. I honestly have Durbin on my like on my Facebook page just so I can comment on his BS comments he makes all the time.
I'm just all I am saying is that it is irresponsible and not within the purview of the job for Dick Durbin to cover. Dick Durbin is the reason you're going to leave Bank of America because of something the government did. You're going to leave Bank of America because something Dick Durbin did, and he wants you to be mad at Bank of America for something he did. He's a gutless coward trying to steer your anger away from where it ought to be, the Democrat Party, and that's all I'm trying to tell you.
The thing about it is I understand what it is. I work in a restaurant. I understand because how it works, I'm sure you know about it, is they're allowed to charge more money now for credit cards than they are for debit card transactions. So they're trying to get everyone away from using debit card transactions. Now, I don't understand why you would only do one or the other if you're the government. It makes absolutely no sense.
Because they're stupid. You think a lot of forethought went into this?
I mean, that's serious. That's the only result I can come to. I mean,
they've got staff running numbers on static calculations, pure and simple. They may have some incentive to want to penalize debit card usage more than credit card usage. Who knows? None of that. My point is, this is central planning involving people who haven't the slightest idea what they're doing. They are causing the resulting price increase of doing business at Bank of America and anywhere else and trying to make you not realize that. So he goes to the floor of the United States Senate. This could very well be illegal. You can't do things like this to try to hurt a business, and a United States senator doing it is beyond the pale. Congress can pass laws, and businesses can react, and that's what's happened here. You wouldn't be facing $15 in new charges if the Congress had left everything alone, if they hadn't messed with this, if Obama hadn't wanted to get his mitts on the whole banking system, if the Democrat Party didn't think they could do it better than anybody else. But since they had to come up with a financial regulatory reform bill under the false premise, by the way, that every consumer is getting screwed, and they're going to save you. It's just like when they get involved in cable TV rates to bring down your monthly cable bill. Look what the heck happens. The last thing that happens is that cable bills get cheaper. And then when it happens, they pass laws, businesses react, then what do? They act like innocent bystanders and spectators and outraged over what the bank's doing and what the businesses are doing when they are the reason for it. It's no different than the levees failing after Katrina. The federal government authorized the money. The money ended up in the back pockets of people in New Orleans and Louisiana. It did not end up in levee repair. Then Hurricane Katrina comes along, the levees cannot hold the water, they break, the flood happens, and members of Congress stand around as innocent bystanders. What the hell happened? Who's responsible for this? What did Bush not do? When they were responsible because they didn't keep tabs on what was being done with the taxpayer money authorized to shore up those levees. It's the same thing here. And again, I have no brief for Bank of America. I don't know a single person who works at Bank of America as a janitor or a CEO. I do not use Bank of America, and I'm not defending them. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to defend the private sector against this kind of meddling from incompetent boobs in the Democrat Party every day I'm on the air. And I'm going to try as best I can to tell you that every time your cost of living goes up, or every time expenses go up at places you do business with, odds are it's because the government's got involved and is making it more expensive for these businesses to operate. They have every right to react. They have every responsibility to maintain their pursuit of profit. If the federal government becomes one more obstacle in their way, which is the case, they have every right to employ business decisions to try to maintain and keep their business open. Pure and simple. And it gets harder and harder and harder to do when you got people like Dick Durbin meddling in it. Who's next? Kevin, Clifton Park, New York. Great to have you, sir. The EIB Network. Hello.
Hey, Russ, you've talked about how Durbin, it's just not his place as a senator to get involved. But I've heard Republicans get involved in telling women where they can get health care with Planned Parenthood. They said don't buy Dixie Chicks records. They've railed against the New York Times. And I know of at least one impotent pill-popping propagandist on the radio that got his start on Armed Forces Talk Radio at the behest of Republican interference. So please don't tell us that it's not the place of a politician to talk out, speak out about issues that are important to millions and millions of people.
I don't know. I don't know what politician told people not to buy the Dixie Chicks records. I don't know what politician. What are you talking about? Planned Parenthood. All that. You, again, identify yourself in the way you think as another obstacle that all the rest of us face for our freedom. You're just a glittering jewel of colossal ignorance. You're an arrogant snob. An arrogant, full-fledged snob, and you don't know 10% of what you think you know because you've been ill-informed, misinformed by a faulty education system or whatever it is. But people like you're just part of the pack we're going to have to run over. You're just part of the pack that we're going to look at and smile in the rearview mirror in November 2012. Take care, Kevin. Have a great day. John, Union City, Pennsylvania. Welcome to the EIB Network. Hello.
Oh, thanks, Rush. It's so good to talk to you. I've been trying to get through for a long time. I got through a couple weeks ago when you were doing your bit about the "I love me, if you love me" comment by the president. So Bo didn't think my comment was worth anything then, so I didn't get a chance to give it. So I won't misrepresent myself and give it to you now. I called today to give you megadittos from Northwest Pennsylvania. I was born and raised in Tom Ridge's neighborhood, and I could have answered your questions a couple weeks ago, too, if I could have gotten through that. But you're right, it's a target-rich day today with Hank Williams stuff and all that. And the main thing I told Bo was, I am just so amazed.
Hey! Stop telling me what you told him and talk to me. You've got 1 minute. This is why you didn't get on last time. You've got 1 minute to get where you're going.
Well, Joe Biden should be leading the whole group of protesters out there on Occupy Wall Street, because 95% of them don't know what they're doing. They don't know who Van Jones is either, and he is the the epitome of that whole protest, though, is most of the kids that they're interviewing really don't even know what they're there for. It's just like the gang in Detroit that wanted money from Obama's stash. You know, there's just a mindlessness.
Well, I think that's, you know what?
Up.
I think also this is an area commonality with the flash mobs that took place in Great Britain. When those riots were happening some weeks ago, we got reports that these were poor, downtrodden, upset at school tuition fees going up, student loans. We found out that a good percentage of them were just wealthy, lucky sperm club trust fund kids who were bored, who were just looking to have a good time and raise some hell. So you may have a point that some of these Wall Street protesters may not even know why they're there or what they're doing, but they still were able to be marshaled, and they get down there. We'll be back. Don't go away.
New from Republican Pictures, Citizen McCain, the true-to-life story of a senator who was willing to go across the aisle.
Senator, when are you coming back?
Legendary were the accomplishments of John Foster McCain, a solid Republican senator, except for campaign finance reform, illegal immigration, tax cuts, Guantanamo.
You forgot global warming.
Having lost in his first bid for the presidency, he wins his party's nomination in 2008 with a new tactic.
I am today what I have always been, a conservative.
Citizen McCain, starring the veteran director John McCain, star of such memorable films as The McCain Mutiny, The Gang of 14, and the popular C-SPAN TV series Maverick.
I don't care if I am the only Republican in this town to vote with Ted Kennedy. He's right.
A potent figure in the media who held dominion over the Senate, McCain is somewhat cautious on the campaign trail.
I believe that the policies of Rosebud are
Rosebud? What does he mean, Rosebud? He can't bring himself to say Barack Hussein Obama. Doesn't want to offend anyone.
Citizen McCain, playing everywhere until the first Tuesday in November.
Now, a message from President Barack Obama about growing your small business.
In the past, small business had to hunker down during hard times like these, becoming more efficient by cutting costs and avoiding debt. But that was the old way of doing things. In today's centrally planned economy, you don't have to wait out a recession. You can end it today by borrowing big money to buy more equipment and invest in new buildings. You can even borrow to make payroll for all the green jobs you create. Take it from me, borrowing money is fun and profitable, and there's no need to worry about collateral, loan schedules, or paying it back, because the bank got it from us, and we borrowed it from the Chinese, who got it from us in the first place. So in the end, we actually owe the money to ourselves.
End the recession today by taking out a small business loan and making your business even smaller. Now, something new yet familiar to everyone. It's Ron Artest.
Hey, yo, fool. Stop with the old school rap and bust it with the now. You gotta do representing for me, Ron Artest.
Word up to all peeps. Some fresh tracks been laying down.
What up? This Ron Artest, busting out with the soft with some old school oldies with a fresh twist. Ain't no suspension long enough. There ain't no fines that are big enough. Ain't no jail term long enough to keep me from beating on you.
And I really mean hits.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Gonna find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. You better not be This in me, yo.
Spreading the love.
Peeps all over the world join hands, make a love train or beat your brain.
True warrior even does Streisand.
Peeps who breed other peeps are the happiest peeps in the world.
Ron Artest does the oldies with a fresh twist and a clenched fist.
He's a jolly good fella, and I'm a jolly good fella. We're all jolly good felons, and if you don't agree, you'll die.
Getting real.
Baby, 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 where did my pay go? Endorsements done left me now. I need me a new loan, you know?
Ron Artest, oldies with a fresh twist. From Concussion Records.
Yeah, we put the con back in concussion.
Available at NBA games and bail bondsmen everywhere.
True that.
Chris Christie press conference is now a half hour old, and he's still not running. He's still saying he is not running. Must be getting emails from Bill Kristol. Great to have you back, folks. 800-282-2882. If you want to be on the program, the email address lrushbo@eivnet.com. He got a couple stories in his Fast and Furious business. One from CBS. And the other is from the Los Angeles Times, and I think I put them in two different stacks. Probably did, in which case I'm going to have trouble finding the LA Times version of the story. Cheryl Atkinson, CBS. New documents obtained by CBS News show that Attorney General Eric Holder was sent briefings on the controversial Fast and Furious operation as far back as July 2010. That directly contradicts his statement to Congress. On May 3rd of this year, Holder told a Judiciary Committee hearing, I'm not sure of the exact date, but I've probably heard about Fast and Furious for the first time over the last few weeks. Yet, new documents obtained by CBS News show Eric Holder was sent briefings on Fast and Furious as far back as July 2010, a year ago. Internal Justice Department documents show that at least 10 months before the May 3rd congressional hearing, Holder began receiving frequent memos discussing Fast and Furious. So, this is big, if you ask me. This is potential perjury. Plain and simple. Representative Darrell Issa, who is the chair of the committee investigating Fast and Furious, suggested on Fox and Friends this morning that Holder, in fact, may have perjured himself. The documents came from the head of the National Drug Intelligence Center and the Assistant Attorney General, Lanny Brewer. Justice Department has publicly tried to distance itself from Fast and Furious, but the new documents, this is the CBS report, the new documents leave no doubt that high-level justice officials knew guns were being walked into Mexico. 2, Justice Department officials mulled it over in an email exchange October 8th of 2010. It's a tricky case given the number of guns that we've walked, but it's a significant set of prosecutions, said Jason Weinstein, the Deputy Assistant Attorney General of the Criminal Division. Deputy Chief of the National Gang Unit, James Trusty, replied, I'm not sure how much grief we get for guns walking. Maybe more like finally they're going to go after people who sent the guns down there. Except it's the ATF for the people who sent the guns down there. But this, once again, it shows exactly why they were doing this, folks. This whole plan was a way to try to fix the blame for the violence in Mexico on American gun dealers. It was a backdoor way to curtail the Second Amendment. There is no question in my mind that that's what Fast and Furious is all about. Get American guns from American gun stores in the hands of Mexican drug cartels who would then use them in marauders and massacres and murders, other acts of violence. The regime could act outraged and shocked when this was learned. Oh, my God, who are these vicious gun dealers? How did this happen? This proves that we have got to have more gun control, blah, 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 blah. That's the purpose, but the whole story has been blown now. And what do you think about CBS? CBS and the Los Angeles Times both running stories today on Holder apparently not telling the truth. The LA Times story is more detailed than this, but I focus on a CBS story here for you because the CBS story actually points out that these emails show that Holder misrepresented the facts in his testimony to Congress. And also, the email that they cite is more telling about the regime's reason for doing Fast and Furious in the first place. So the CBS story is not quite as long, it's not as detailed, but it does get to the heart of the matter on two really important points. I have to think, if this were George W. Bush and this were planned to sabotage some liberal issue, I thought we'd be talking impeachment if everything else had happened, if the Bush Attorney General had apparently committed perjury about what he knew when. This would be all over the place. I'm stunned. We had two random acts of journalism here on the same day. This is a third random act of journalism I can recall by the drive-by media in 10 days or 5 days. We had a random act of journalism last Thursday. We had two random acts of journalism today by the LA Times and CBS. Now, why do you think that's happening, ladies and gentlemen? I'll tell you why it's happening. Because these people in the media see Obama destroying them. Their ideology. They see Obama destroying liberalism. They're mad. It's quite simple. They are just ticked off. Obama has done all this great stuff, but he isn't popular. They had dreams that Obama would be able to implement all of this socialist agenda and be loved and adored, just as he was in 2008. Instead, the majority of Americans don't think he'll be reelected. Now, 55% don't think he'll be reelected, and close to that same number say that they won't vote for him. Liberalism in deep doo-doo. That's why all of a sudden now some of these stories about Fast and Furious and other things. And if I'm right, we're going to be seeing even more here. Investors.com. This is a conservative bunch. Investors Business Daily is the former name. But they quote a very active socialist, very liberal. Guy's name is Robert Borisage. Robert Borisage is co-director of the Campaign for America's Future. And that's Think Progress. That's Podesta. That's as far left as you can get in the Democrat Party mainstream. Most of the nation's top liberal groups have convened in Washington this week for the Campaign for America's Future annual conference. And this year dubbed Take Back the American Dream. A major theme of the gathering of these liberals is their disappointment in President Obama. And President Robert Borisage is quoted. He's co-director of the Campaign for America's Future. He's a key organizer of the event. And in a speech yesterday, Borisage said, "Everyone in this crowd, I'm certain, has had their disappointments and their frustrations with this White House. From bailing out the big banks without reforming them, to failing to stand strong on jobs, on climate, many other issues, extending a war, and now asserting national security prerogatives that simply trample the Constitution. But our challenges are much greater than the shortcomings of this president. Remember, when he came into office, Obama put forth reforms in areas that we have to address: energy, healthcare, financial reform, to recovery. And now those reforms were too cautious in my mind. They were pre-compromised, if you will. But despite the crisis, despite the popular mandate, despite Democrat majorities in both houses, he got his head handed to him. And we know why. Money politics. The entrenched corporate interests that have been running this place were able to build Republican obstructionism with a sufficient number of Democrats and defend their privileges and self-interest. It's totally delusional, but the left is delusional. This is the problem. We face a delusional enemy. You can't oppose these people rationally. That's what's wrong with the Republican establishment. It's what's wrong with our so-called elite conservative media. You can't deal with these people rationally. They are delusional. They really believe this stuff that I just quoted Borisage as saying. There's only one thing to do, and that's defeat these people. Borisage's remarks, by the way, at this convention were warmly greeted. Others at the Campaign for America's Future event expressed similar sentiments. Van Jones, the event's keynote speaker, who Biden doesn't know, said that this has been a tough couple of years. We can't get up here and lie and say everything's been cool. We went from hope to heartbreak in about a minute. They're not happy with Obama for odd, strange reasons, but they're still not happy. But the primary reason is, folks, poll numbers. He's not approved of. He's not liked. People don't support his policies. They don't want any part of his policies. He's accomplished great things for the left, just not fast enough and just not enough. But he's taking liberalism down with him. Can't abide that. Borisage, by the way, ran the Reverend Jackson's presidential campaign. That's who this guy is, just to give you some idea about him. Be right back. Don't go away.
Rush Limbaugh, simply brilliant, on the EIB network.
I want my Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
And you'll want your Al TV too.
Hi, I'm Al Gore. Remember me? Now I've got my own cable TV channel called Al TV.
Al TV, committed to being young and irreverent.
Cool, huh?
We'll discuss the issues that you care about, like global warming.
This is the sound of a cow threatening the world. They used to love that when I was vice president.
Call your cable operator and demand Al TV.
That's G-O-R-E.
Youthful and irreverent. Kind of like a radio shock jock.
With short hair.
It's Al TV.
I know you'll remember this. I'm the one who stuck his tongue down Tipper's throat at the convention.
Ew.
Tell those money-hungry cable operators you want your Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
The 1950s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
Nothing, sir.
Don't give me that. It's one of those C things.
A condom?
Don't take it out right now. I certainly hope you weren't planning to use the thing.
No, sir.
You won't now. I'm taking that C thing and destroying it.
Yes, sir, but just one thing. Don't tell my parents.
The 1990s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Yes, Jimmy. Take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
I don't have a circle.
Just as I thought. Put this in your wallet right now.
This C thing?
It's a condom, Jimmy, and you better make plans right now to use it.
Yes, sir. I won't destroy your faith in me.
Good, Jimmy, but just one thing. Don't tell your parents.
This message has been brought to you by Bungee Condoms, celebrating 40 years of progress. From being hidden in your dad's wallet to being handed out in your schools. Bungee Condoms, where quality is more than just a word. It's a slogan.
Be an army of at least one. By volunteering for duty as a DNC seminar caller, you'll receive advanced basic training from our sensitive, caring professionals.
What's your number, soldier?
1-800-282-2885.
How you gonna make it past the call screener if you don't know the number? Drop and give me 20 on the rotary dial. The rest of you, repeat after me. I love your show, and I always agree with you. And I voted for Bush.
And you'll earn promotions and medals.
Son, we're very proud of you. What's that medal for?
This one's for touch tone. This is for getting past the call screener, and this big one here is for actually talking to the host and flawlessly saying, I love your show, I always agree with you, and I voted for Bush.
Be on radio and say what we want you to say. All scripts provided by the Democratic National Committee. Help us take back our monopoly on public opinion. Volunteers especially needed from noon to 3 Eastern. Most Americans.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, even though I can perform broadcast excellence with half my brain tied behind my back, when it comes to protecting my pictures and other computer files, plus my secrets. Come on, admit it. Everybody's got secrets on the computer you hope and pray nobody else ever sees. Yes, you do. I know everybody has secrets on there. And you think a password will protect them or whatever, but what happens if you lose your computer data? Inevitable computer blow up, theft, accident, hard drive screws up. All of your important stuff's gone if it's not backed up. Carbonite Online Backup is your solution to this fear. Automatically, continually backs up your computer files. It keeps them off-site, stored securely and safely away from a hard drive crash, a nasty computer virus, fire, or theft. By the way, I've had people say, well, those files are stored somewhere. What's to stop the Carbonite people from inspecting my stuff? Folks, they couldn't find it. We're talking gazillions of bytes of data here. That is encrypted. Don't worry about that. Nobody's going to be able to get to your stuff except you. Thousands of people have computer disasters every day, and who knows, today could be your day. But if you already have Carbonite, you'll be able to restore your files easily. Get a new computer, ditto. You can access those backed up files privately on any computer, on your smartphone, iPad, with a free app. So do as I do. Stay focused on what you do best and let Carbonite take care of protecting your computer files. Unlimited backup is only $59 a year. You can start your free trial today at Carbonite.com. Use the offer code RUSH, and you'll get 2 bonus months with your purchase. Carbonite.com, offer code RUSH. It works in the background. You'll never know it's happening. In fact, you'll probably forget you've got it. And then one day, this thing will happen, your computer will blow up, and it'll take you a while to remember you've got Carbonite. It's the biggest sense of relief you can imagine. Ed in Milford, Connecticut. Hello, sir. Glad you waited. Welcome to EIB Network.
Good afternoon, Rush. I'm kind of breaking my own rule here by calling in. My rule is I usually call in if I need to sort something out or if I have a gripe. But I bought your tea last week.
You did?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm a small business owner, and times are tough. And every time I hear you advertise it, I said, I'm not going to spend that money for tea to have shipped to my house.
Yeah.
Times. But I did it, and I did it because of the free shipping, and it goes to a good cause. I guess some of the money goes to a good cause.
That is the Marine Corps Law Enforcement Foundation. We sponsor a good group there.
Yeah, and I said, well, that combined with the shipping and the fact that I have a shot of having you come to my little bungalow in Connecticut. I said, you know what? I've got to spend the money to give it a shot.
Yeah, that's a great. We're going to be announcing that someday here pretty soon. We're in the process. But somebody's going to win a free delivery of tea by me.
Well, it's not going to be me now. I just jinxed myself.
I can't tell you.
Well, anyway.
Haven't announced it yet. I'm holding this closer to the vest than Apple held details of the iPhone 4S.
Well, anyway, let me just tell you, like I said, I'm one of those guys that kind of snicker, when people sell things on the radio, even yourself.
I know.
And I hear, it's tea, and I'm sitting here in my office, I'm thinking, come on, it's tea. Well, I cracked it open in front of my wife, and I said, you know what? This smells like the tea that I used to make with my mom when I was a little boy.
Excellent. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and
that's exactly what, especially the regular tea, be it diet or regularly sweetened. That's exactly how that flavor is exactly how it tasted when my mother made it. That's what we were going for.
Yeah, we used to squeeze the bags and everything, and we'd have this specific pitcher, for tea, and we'd boil up the bags and squeeze it. And I distinctly remember the smell. And when I first tried your tea, I said, I think it's a little weak. And I said, you know what? It's not weak. It's perfect. We used to make it too strong. And I tasted it, and I said, this tastes like tea. Actually, it beats my mom's, because when we used to make it, we made it too strong, because you always, you're a little too tempted to throw more bags.
Yeah, it can cause a bitter aftertaste if you're not careful, which is another aspect that we wanted to avoid. Well, you made my day. I appreciate it. I really do. Thanks so much for the call and the endorsement. He said it. Normally, he would only call if he had a gripe, or if he wanted to talk about an issue or something. But he says it's better than his mother's tea, and that's quite a compliment. You can't do better than that. Here's, let's see, Christy, Audio soundbite 26. I want to get one of these Christie soundbites in. We've got 3 of them here, but I want to get one in before we go to the break, maybe a couple of them. Here he is saying he did reconsider running for president. I guess we don't have the Chris Christie bites. Is the computer belching again here? I guess we don't have the Chris Christie bites.
Williams is hardly the first public.
No, that's not Chris Christie. That's a tea commercial. Not mine either. No, I don't know what it was. Do we have Chris Christie? Do we have these bites? Or is the computer, is that going to be the excuse? Yeah, okay. We're still trying to draw it up on the computer. Computer's being difficult. Right. Mm-hmm. Good. Well, let's try again. 3, 2, 1.
When you have serious people from across the spectrum, not to mention from all across the country, passionately calling on you to do something as consequential as running for President of the United States, I felt an obligation to earnestly consider their advice. Together with Mary Pat and our children, I believed I had an obligation to seriously consider what people were asking me to do.
So he did reconsider it. And there were a lot of people. The pressure was really on Chris Christie, folks. I mean, it was. Don't smirk in there, Sturdley. I happen to know the pressure. I'm not talking about Bill Kristol. I'm talking. There are other kinds of big money people were leaning on him like you can't believe, like Home Depot co-founders and so forth. Got a quick timeout. We'll be back. Don't go away.
Doing the work that the mainstream American media just won't do. Rush on the EIB network.
I want my Al TV!
And you'll want your Al TV too.
Hi, I'm Al Gore. Remember me? Now I've got my own cable TV channel called Al TV.
Al TV, committed to being young and irreverent.
Cool, huh?
We'll discuss the issues that you care about, like global warming.
This is the sound of a cow threatening the world. They used to love that when I was vice president.
Call your cable operator and demand Al TV.
That's G-O-R-E.
Youthful and irreverent. Kind of like a radio shock jock.
With short hair.
It's Al TV.
I know you'll remember this. I'm the one who stuck his tongue down Tipper's throat at the convention.
Ew.
Tell those money-hungry cable operators you want your Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
The 1950s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
Nothing, sir.
Don't give me that. It's one of those C things.
A condom?
Don't take it out right now. I certainly hope you weren't planning to use the thing.
No, sir.
You won't now. I'm taking that C thing and destroying it.
Yes, sir, but just one thing. Don't tell my parents.
The 1990s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Yes, Jimmy. Take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
I don't have a circle.
Just as I thought. Put this in your wallet right now.
This C thing?
It's a condom, Jimmy, and you better make plans right now to use it.
Yes, sir. I won't destroy your faith in me.
Good, Jimmy, but just one thing. Don't tell your parents.
This message has been brought to you by Bungee Condoms, celebrating 40 years of progress. From being hidden in your dad's wallet to being handed out in your schools. Bungee Condoms, where quality is more than just a word. It's a slogan.
Be an army of at least one. By volunteering for duty as a DNC seminar caller, you'll receive advanced basic training from our sensitive, caring professionals.
What's your number, soldier?
1-800-282-2885.
How you gonna make it past the call screener if you don't know the number? Drop and give me 20 on the rotary dial. The rest of you, repeat after me. I love your show, and I always agree with you. And I voted for Bush.
And you'll earn promotions and medals.
Son, we're very proud of you. What's that medal for?
This one's for touch tone. This is for getting past the call screener, and this big one here is for actually talking to the host and flawlessly saying, I love your show, I always agree with you, and I voted for Bush.
Be on radio and say what we want you to say. All scripts provided by the Democratic National Committee. Help us take back our monopoly on public opinion. Volunteers especially needed from noon to 3 Eastern. Most Americans.
That's an interesting call you have waiting from Alabama on line 5. That call about what I said about Hillary running for president, being president. Okay, my friends, another exciting hour. Broadcast excellence is in the can, but we have one more to go. We'll take a brief time out here at the top of the hour. We've got a bunch of sound bites I need to get to today that I haven't had time to squeeze in. We'll do that when we get back, plus much more right after this.
Attention EIP affiliates. Stand by for the Rush Limbaugh promo feed. Copyright 2011. EIP Network. Start all recording devices in 3, 2, 1. Now.
Rush Limbaugh.
Who the hell does Dick Durbin think he is? A floor speech in the United States Senate telling Bank of America customers to scram?
Rush Limbaugh.
The Durbin Amendment was tacked on to the already stupid Dodd-Frank bill at the last minute, and that's what caused these fees to increase in the first place. Durbin is the one responsible for this. Blissfully unaware of the unintended consequences of his actions. Just downright plain old-fashioned stupid. Who the hell does Dick Durbin think he is? A floor speech in the United States Senate telling Bank of America customers to scram? The Durbin Amendment was tacked on to the already stupid Dodd-Frank bill at the last minute, and that's what caused these fees to increase in the first place. Durbin is the one responsible for this. Blissfully unaware of the unintended consequences of his actions. Just downright plain old-fashioned stupid.
The godfather of talk radio, El Rushmo, executing assigned host duties flawlessly. We go beyond the limit on this program, folks. There is no limit here because I have talent on loan from God. Okay, remember, every day, Christmas morning, here on the Excellence in Broadcasting Network, get to open up all kinds of presents.
The Rush Limbaugh radio program.
Did you people ever think there would be a talk show that would teach you so much?
This concludes the promo feed. Production directors everywhere. Be with us next time as we make your life easier on the EIB network. And now, ladies and gentlemen, another message of hope and recovery from President Barack Obama.
To celebrate the summer of recovery, I have just created a new entitlement. Never-ending unemployment benefits. So instead of the usual 26 weeks, you'll now get years and years and years to reconnect with your family, pursue personal dreams, start a new hobby, or just hang out while you stick it to the saps who are actually working and paying for it all. Many Americans have felt liberated, getting checks week after week through no fault of their own. Some have even enjoyed unemployment so much, they have quit looking for a job. And now you can too. Think of it as a new welfare program. And you can count on it because we are the experts in welfare.
Celebrate your unemployment during our summer of recovery with unemployment entitlement payments from the Democrats. Progressively leftward every day. On a bus tour in the heartland, President Obama searches for a way to take the people's mind off the economy.
Over the last 6 months, we had a run of bad luck. Hey, look over there! Aliens!
A terrified nation just forgets everything Obama ever did in Aliens Attack. With incredibly useless special effects by Ben Bernanke. Paul Krugman calls it believable. James Carville gives it 1 finger up.
Oh, hell, this ain't even as believable as Ken Starr versus Bill Clinton. I'm out of here.
Aliens Attack. So real, he'll scream for more government.
Hello? What, Harry?
Can Nancy and I quit now?
Nope. Keep going. I gotta get elected.
Okay.
When Aliens Attack. Coming soon to a swing state near you.
Not to be considered a real campaign stop.
can. Yes, we can.
Who can make the sunrise? Promise you the moon. Cover you with healthcare and a miracle or two. Obama can. Oh, Obama can man. Obama can man, cause he calls it hope and change. It makes it all sound good. Oh, who can take the autos? Squeeze them till they're dry. Give them to his union friends, control them from on high. Obama can. Oh, Obama can man. Obama can man, cause he calls it hope and change. It makes it all sound good. Obama can take everything you make to satisfy his childish wishes. Socialism is delicious. Aren't you just a bit suspicious?
When you spread the wealth around, it's good for everybody.
Oh, who can take tomorrow? Spend it on a dream. Spread a billion trillion in a never-ending stream. Obama can. Oh, Obama can man.
It's not nationalization. It's just a leveraged buyout by the government. If you make under $250,000 a year, your taxes will not go up. Unless you have employer-provided health care insurance. All across America, people have borrowed money they cannot pay back. So we are going to help them pay it back by printing more money.
No, I'm not upset about it. I'm just telling you that we're going to get 48 hours of news reports on Chris Christie not running for president. I'm not mad about it. I don't get mad anymore. I did lose my cool today to call her for the first time in probably 15 years. You have to admit. And the caller, I feel rotten about it because the caller was a nice guy. No, I haven't. When was I? I've never been worse than I was. That was just, something snapped. I'm looking here. I've got 90 seconds left, and I'm hearing what he would have told Snerdley 2 years ago. What the hell does that have to do with it? I'm getting mad thinking about it. I'm just going to stop. I did tell him to have a nice day because I recovered. But, and I did, when he finally got to his point, it was a good one. It just took 2 minutes. I don't care what you tell Snerdley in the screen process. I don't care. He'll tell me if it's worth it. If you end up past Snerdley, I don't need to know what you told him. Snerdley doesn't remember anyway. He's already off to the next call. I got maybe suffering from iPhone rage. I'm ticked off there's not an iPhone 5. Well, so far, they're still doing it. They're still releasing, they're giving details about the 4S. And, oh, no, Snerdley, they're talking. It's a massive internal upgrade. New antenna, new graphics. This thing is faster graphics than an Xbox. Faster graphics than most home gaming systems have. It's a world phone now. They're going through all this 8-megapixel camera. There's a bunch of new stuff inside it. 8-megapixel camera with a light sensor. Yeah, it's got that. And that's the last I saw before I had to come back here to the show. I don't know what else they're going to say. Look, you ask, how long does it take to tell about a new phone? It took Christie 45 minutes to say it wasn't running. There could still be an iPhone 5. I doubt it, though. But there is these Apple deals. When everybody thinks it's over, one of the things Steve Jobs always did, his trademark, one more thing. My wild guess is that the one more thing, that if they keep that alive, Jobs isn't there, I don't think. He may make a cameo, who knows. But if they do the one more thing gig, I hope it's that thing I was telling you about yesterday, the program called Assistant, the voice-to-text nuanced technology. We will see in due course. These things generally go about 2 hours. They just introduced the new iPad or iPod, the new system software, which will be released on October 12th to the public. The phone on October 14th, I think. Anyway, I'm looking at this, and I'm taking note of all the Mac fanboys all over the world are just fascinated with this. I mean, last night was Christmas Eve for a lot of these people. Wouldn't it be great if the economy were such there was this kind of anticipation for what a lot of companies were doing? It would really be great. It would be a sign that the country is rebounding. Here are two more Christie sound bites, by the way, from his announcement today that he's not running for president. Here's the first of two remaining bites that we have.
I've explored the options. I've listened to so many people and considered whether this was something that I needed to take on. But in the end, what I've always felt was the right decision remains the right decision today. Now is not my time. I have a commitment to New Jersey that I simply will not abandon. That's the promise I made to the people of this state when I took office 20 months ago, to fix a broken New Jersey. So, New Jersey, whether you like it or not, you're stuck with me.
Question was asked during the Q&A, unidentified reporter. You mentioned the priority you put on a leader as president. Why is that so important? And what advice do you have for the people running?
The president's failed. And if you want to know why it's so important...
What? Whoa, gotta hear that again. Roll that one back. Chris Christie, question. You mentioned the priority you put on a leader as president. Why is that so important? What advice do you have for the people running?
The president's failed. And if you want to know why it's so important, you were there. Read the speech I gave at the Reagan Library. And I think this is, just an example of somebody who has failed the leadership test. And more than anything else in these jobs, what I've learned is there's no substitute for knowing how to lead. Everything else you can be taught. You can't be taught how to lead and how to make decisions. And unfortunately, even though there are areas, as you know, that I support this president in, overall, he's failed the American people because he's failed that absolute litmus test to be president of the United States, and that's to know how to lead and decide. And he hasn't done that.
So there's Christie. That's pretty blunt. President's failed. But has he? Some things he has, yeah. But he's succeeded in way too much. We've been through all of that. Christie basically said that he's not going to run. He's got to stay and fix New Jersey. If that's the criteria, he's never going to run because New Jersey's never going to get totally fixed. But a lot of people disappointed. A lot of people disappointed that he's choosing not to run. Interesting story. This is from the Carolina Journal. President Obama stood before thousands of screaming supporters back on September 14th at North Carolina State U, urging Congress to pass the American Jobs Act, that $450 billion tax increase plan. Pass this jobs bill, and there will be funding to save the jobs of up to 13,000 North Carolina teachers, cops, and firefighters, he said. But he didn't say that his bill would fund those jobs for only 1 year. Nor did he say how the jobs would be paid for after that, or whether it's exactly what it is, HR. It's exactly what the 100,000 cops of Clinton. You remember this program, 100,000 cops. The federal government, in the midst of a crime wave, was going to pay local governments to hire more cops for a year or two. And after they hired the cops, the money would run out. And then who would pay them after? The same thing with Obama's teacher plan here. The money was to hire teachers and firemen and cops for 1 year. This is a typical way that the left does things, typical liberal thinking. Get something passed that has no way to be continually funded, leaving the state to hold the bag after the feds drop it on them, which is what's happening right now with unemployment compensation, as we told you at the beginning of the program. The states are now in debt a total of $38 billion after funding the Fed's mandated unemployment compensation extension. It's the states that pay for that. They had to borrow money from the federal government to pull it off because the states didn't have the money. Now the first interest payments are due on the borrowing, a total aggregate interest payment of $1 billion is due Friday. The states don't have it. But this is how the feds get their hands in. So the $450 billion, oh yeah, we're going to save your teacher's job for 1 year. And then if the states don't have any money to keep those people hired, they lose their jobs. The 100,000 cops thing, Clinton thing, only 69,000 jobs, 69,000 cops and others ended up being hired. So this is typical. This is the way they go out and do things. Make a big grand announcement. Oh yeah, we're going to fund jobs, 13,000 teachers for a year. Then after that, it's up to the states. And if the states don't have the money, tough toenails. Be back after this.
Rush starts it all, proving how Obama has torpedoed the American working man. Order the Limbaugh letter now. 888-395-7874. You're listening to the EIB Network.
I want my Al TV!
And you'll want your Al TV too.
Hi, I'm Al Gore. Remember me? Now I've got my own cable TV channel called Al TV.
Al TV, committed to being young and irreverent.
Cool, huh?
We'll discuss the issues that you care about, like global warming.
This is the sound of a cow threatening the world. They used to love that when I was vice president.
Call your cable operator and demand Al TV.
That's G-O-R-E.
Youthful and irreverent. Kind of like a radio shock jock.
With short hair.
It's Al TV.
I know you'll remember this. I'm the one who stuck his tongue down Tipper's throat at the convention.
Ew. Tell those money-hungry cable operators you want your Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
The 1950s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
Nothing, sir.
Don't give me that. It's one of those C things.
A condom?
Don't take it out right now. I certainly hope you weren't planning to use the thing.
No, sir.
You won't now. I'm taking that C thing and destroying it.
Yes, sir, but just one thing. Don't tell my parents.
The 1990s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Yes, Jimmy. Take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
I don't have a circle.
Just as I thought. Put this in your wallet right now.
This C thing?
It's a condom, Jimmy, and you better make plans right now to use it.
Yes, sir. I won't destroy your faith in me.
Good, Jimmy, but just one thing. Don't tell your parents.
This message has been brought to you by Bungee Condoms, celebrating 40 years of progress. From being hidden in your dad's wallet to being handed out in your schools. Bungee Condoms, where quality is more than just a word. It's a slogan.
Be an army of at least one. By volunteering for duty as a DNC seminar caller, you'll receive advanced basic training from our sensitive, caring professionals.
What's your number, soldier?
1-800-282-2885.
How you gonna make it past the call screener if you don't know the number? Drop and give me 20 on the rotary dial. The rest of you, repeat after me. I love your show, and I always agree with you. And I voted for Bush.
And you'll earn promotions and medals.
Son, we're very proud of you. What's that medal for?
This one's for touch tone. This is for getting past the call screener, and this big one here is for actually talking to the host and flawlessly saying, I love your show, I always agree with you, and I voted for Bush.
Be on radio and say what we want you to say. All scripts provided by the Democratic National Committee. Help us take back our monopoly on public opinion. Volunteers especially needed from noon to 3 Eastern. Most Americans.
By the way, when these teachers get laid off after 1 year, who gets blamed for it? The nearest Republican. Through budget cuts. Yeah, the Republicans don't care. The Republicans are accused of cutting budgets when Obama only funded something for a year. And the cycle repeats. Republicans get all defensive, try to show, no, we don't hate teachers, we love teachers, we didn't cut the budget, try to go out and explain it, the media gangs up, and that's the cycle. Fund something for a year, those people lose their jobs, you blame it on the Republicans for having no heart and no compassion, and the famous budget cuts and so forth, for their rich buddies, all that sort of stuff. And that's how it works. Here's Michelle in Hoover, Alabama. Michelle, I'm glad you waited. Welcome to the EIB Network.
Hi, Rush.
Hi.
I have to say that I normally agree with you 99.8% of the time. But
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
But you're wrong on something today.
Well, what?
You're wrong about the Chris Christie weight thing.
What did I say that I'm wrong about?
Well, I believe that if it was a woman that, and she was as large as Chris Christie is, that people wouldn't vote for her. I don't think that's a reason not to vote for someone, because you should vote for them on their ideas. But you even pointed out that Hillary, people didn't want to watch her age in office.
Yeah,
I agree with you on that.
Very, very shrewd of you to remember that.
Oh, well, thank you.
I don't think I said that per se. I asked the question, which irritated them even more.
Well, irritating them's a good thing.
But it wasn't. Yes, it is, obviously. But I don't think you might have been confused. I was reading from a Washington Post column by a female named Ruth Marcus, and she was saying that a woman as large as Christie, female candidate, would never even have a chance at being president because she would have never been elected governor because she's too fat, that there's a prejudice against fat women that doesn't exist against fat men. And that's what she was saying.
Well, I don't know. I just think that, people, look at what happened when Kennedy and the Nixon debates. People thought Kennedy won the debate because they watched it. People thought Nixon won the debate because they listened to it. Unfortunately, it's a sign of the times. People pay attention to those things.
Well, there's no question about it. But look, let me just shoot straight here. There are countless examples of ugly people being elected to office. Now, I don't know about president, but there are lots of ugly politicians. Remember, showbiz. Politics is showbiz for the ugly. It's where people who can't get on television or can't star in movies go. Politics.
Well, Margaret Thatcher wasn't attractive. She got elected.
Yeah, it's not who I had in mind, but that's my point.
Well, I understand your point on that, but in today's culture, and especially in this country, people pay attention to that. I don't think they should. It should be about people's principles and ideas and how we're going to get this country back on the right track. But I just thought you were wrong, and it pains me to say that, Rush, you're wrong.
Okay, tell me again. Wait a minute, I'm still confused. Tell me again what I got wrong.
And if I understood you correctly, you said that the weight thing wouldn't be an issue, that she would not be elected. Even the article said the woman wouldn't be elected governor because of if she was overweight, correct?
Yeah. The point of the piece was to show the inherent unfairness to women, that fat women in politics don't have a prayer, whereas fat guys do. And that's all she's saying. And it's a reality, and it ticks her off that it's a reality. She thinks it's anti-woman and thinks it's another burden that women have, they have to face going through that's look at. She's right. Why do you think I so thoughtfully and creatively wrote Undeniable Truth of Life number 24? Feminism was established so as to allow unattractive women easier access to the mainstream of society. The very fact that so irritates people is proof of how right it is. Because in many cases today, the most offensive thing anybody can say is the truth about something. Political correctness created to mask and hide the truth. The same liberal columnist who says a woman as large as Christie would never have a chance at being president is part of a liberal mindset to trash thin conservative women who run for office, including Palin and Bachmann. So they trash conservative women no matter what. Janet Napolitano was a governor. Janet, that's right. And let's see, so was, no, I was going to say Shalala. Shalala was university president. Different thing. Michelle, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. This is Mike in Washington, D.C., in the area there. Great to have you on the program. Hi.
Hi. Well, we conservatives don't have to worry about any unattractive women because obviously Sarah Palin and Michelle Bachmann are both very attractive, so we're blessed in that regard, aren't we?
I think if you, dare I say this, I probably shouldn't say it, but I'm just going to give voice to what everybody recognizes. You watch any cable news network, and you take a look at the female roster of Democrat analysts and strategists on the Republican side, and conclusion's obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Conclusion's obvious.
Sure, you're right again.
There's no question. I mean, it is what it is. The reality is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I could name names, but I don't want to embarrass anybody here, but we all know that this is true. Now, what was it that you called about? I know this wasn't it.
No, it wasn't it. Today your show is the epitome of the reasons I started listening many years ago.
Oh.
And is you bring some accountability to our government and its taxpayers and the institution and the processes therein. But you've introduced a couple of areas that concern me, and one is the Fast and Furious and gun control.
Yeah.
I recall under the Clinton administration, you pointed out that the Clinton administration was emasculating the military while arming civilian agencies to the teeth.
Well, yeah, there's
those were years where we were exactly.
Yeah, there was an argument could be made for that. Yeah.
Yeah, you said that, and I firmly believe that the Second Amendment is probably one of the reasons we've kept our freedoms as long as we have. And I wouldn't consider myself really pro-gun. Guns scare me. I don't own a gun,
yep.
And I recognize the dangers in having one around. However, I fully support the Second Amendment in every regard.
Well,
I think it is the baseline, the foundation of why we've kept our freedoms as long as we can here.
Yeah, that and the right to property.
Sure.
People do not understand the importance of right to property. They focus on free speech, which is important too. But you know the thing about gun control, even the libs now. I'll tell you when this first hit me. First, when I knew a tidal wave had happened that nobody had seen. It's the 1980 presidential campaign. It's George W. Bush versus Al Gore. And in one of the debates, Al Gore, out of the blue, starts talking up the right to bear arms, supporting the right to own guns. And I'm saying, whoa, what has happened here? What have I missed? Because up till that moment in time, the Democrats have been trying to say the Second Amendment doesn't mean you can have a gun. They've been trying to either alternately interpret it that way or get it just ignored or written out of the Constitution. Well, what changed it was polling data. The Democrats have to govern against the will of the people, but in order to get elected, they have to pander. And so they pandered. I know for a fact that Gore did not believe in the Second Amendment, and John Kerry did it. When John Kerry shows up in Indiana or Iowa dressed up like Johnny Carson making fun of a hunter, and he walks into some tackle shop or something, says, hey, is this where I can get me a hunting license? As everybody knew that Lurch doesn't know anything about guns, doesn't support anybody having them, but the polling data was clear. You lose if you are of the mindset that you want to take guns out of people's hands legally. You take guns out of the lives of innocent people, you are in trouble. So these Democrats have to publicly acknowledge it. But look what they do when they get elected. Hello, Fast and Furious. This is what they're capable of. So they arrange a program that is designed to put guns purchased in Arizona in American gun stores in the hands of drug cartel thugs in Mexico. They figure that those guns are going to be used in the commission of crimes, murders, mayhem, and what have you. The plan was to have that happen and then to have outrage and shock and dismay when we learned that those guns originated in Phoenix. You mean the Mexican drug cartel was killing people, some cases Americans and drug agents, with guns purchased at a Phoenix gun store? Why? Then they wanted a national outcry of opposition to this, shut down the availability of guns. That was the whole point of Fast and Furious. So behind the scenes, try to create a phony situation to toy with public opinion. Because, never forget this, when the public expresses an opinion at variance with liberalism or the Democrats, they never respect the public's opinion. They then see the need to subvert it, corrupt it, and get around it. That's what Fast and Furious was.
And now, America's newest all-night sensation,
Tom Daschle.
Coast to Coast.
Hi, and welcome to Late Night Coast to Coast with Tom Daschle, where anything paranormal, delusional, even extraterrestrial can happen. We have a call on our Texas line. Hi, Bill. What's on your mind?
This is Bill Burkett, secret source for CBS. You're not going to believe this.
We believe everybody, Bill. And we send emails with your thoughts and concerns to the network news guys.
Well, George W. Bush made me vote for him through a kind of mind control.
Really?
Yeah, my finger's still purple. He kept an alien when he was in the Guard, but I never thought he'd stoop to this.
Wow. Just another piece of the vast election conspiracy puzzle. Oh, a first-time caller. Teresa in Paris. What's on your mind?
Laura Bush was the mastermind to keep John Kerry out of the White House just because of my plan to repaint it a bright coral red.
Another eyewitness to a plot of deception. Up next, a voice from beyond. Yes, Richard?
Tom, I lost the presidency in 1960. I picked myself up and won in 1968.
Oh, so John Kerry should run again?
No,
Thank you for those words of encouragement. Louis from the mothership.
Tom, did you know that the space wheel time continuum clearly shows that you and your callers are absolutely crazy? Crazy Fruit Loops from the leftward land of silliness. I couldn't even make this stuff up.
Well, the Tribal Radio Network fanfare says it's time to go.
Tom Daschle.
Coast to Coast. Stay tuned for the Prostate Awareness Hour live from Del Rio, Texas on the Tribal Radio Network. The future Limbaugh wing of the Museum of Broadcasting.
We're looking forward to putting it all together, and we hope to be able to do this, folks, without one dime of fundraising.
The Limbaugh wing of the Museum of Broadcasting will be a delight for all your senses.
There will be film strips, there will be theaters, there will be opportunities for people to gaze their eyes on the meaning of this program, not just use their ears.
Get to know some of the little people behind the scenes.
Pictures of the staff who contributed in the small way they did to the success of the program.
Special presentations for industry insiders.
We're going to tell the business secrets of this program and how it revolutionized radio in a business sense.
The future Limbaugh wing of the Museum of Broadcasting. Educational.
It will be a compilation of all the great knowledge that has been disseminated by this program to a starved mass, which has been previously deprived of this great information by virtue of the direction that the public education system has taken.
Don't forget to visit the Rogues Gallery.
By the time we open the museum, we'll have a picture of the remaining liberals on college campuses. There will be a list of Democrat politicians whose careers ended during the course of this program.
In this mecca for future historians and broadcasters, you will find everything Limbaugh.
But we will have tapes of programs. We will have highlights and examples of why this program was so successful. My plaque is an honorary member of the freshman class, U.S. House of Representatives 1994. The golden EIB microphones will be there. Models of EIB 1. Virtually anything and everything, and the public will be clamoring to see all of these things.
Old and young will be awed by the Limbaugh legacy.
Well, it'll be a very learning experience, especially for America's children.
The Limbaugh wing of the Museum of Broadcasting. Today, it's a dream, but when his work is done, it will become a reality.
Well, now this is really helpful. Bernanke's out there saying that the economic recovery is close to faltering. There is no recovery. What in the what? There isn't a recovery. I want to pretend that there is, and now that recovery. How's that recovery working for you? That hopey changey thing. How's it? Now that recovery is close to faltering. It would, if we go back into recession, of course it'd be double dip. What else would you call it? That's what they want. Look, I checked the email during the break. It's predictable. I got it coming at me from every imaginable direction on this whole business of weight, appearance, and so forth. Let me just tell you point blank, folks. I don't care what Ruth Marcus said. The truth and the fact of the matter is that female politicians get a pass on every aspect of their appearance. They get a... You would never have stories about how some female politician's fat, like there are stories about Christie being fat. You wouldn't have those stories. When's the last time you saw a story on Barney Frank being fat? When's the last time you saw... well, it fits. It still fits. When is the last time... You don't have it, but all these stories about Christie being fat, they're all over the place. Will he have the stamina? Will he have the energy? Will he have the health? You don't have those questions. There are plenty of lard-ass women in politics. And they get a total pass on it. Who's next? Joe in East Hampton, Connecticut. Great to have you on the EIB network. Hello.
Ross, thank you. It's an honor talking to you. How you doing today?
Very, very well, sir. A little depressed. No iPhone 5. Apple stock down $11, by the way.
Yeah, but you don't live in Connecticut, so hey.
There's always... could be worse, is what you mean.
It could be worse, and it just got a little worse, and I got to share this with you. A little while ago, you were talking about the unemployment and how the states were being forced to pay the unemployment, and now their interest payment is up and coming and is due.
Yeah.
Well,
Friday.
I'm a small business owner in Connecticut. And the people, if they can't make the interest payment, the people aren't actually going to lose their jobs because the state of Connecticut just went navy blue from light blue. I actually got an invoice from the state of Connecticut for $192.27 for my business to pay my portion of the interest that is due.
On the unemployment payment?
Yes.
$192.27 for your business to pay your portion of the interest.
My portion of the interest that the state of Connecticut cannot pay.
Okay, so now what you said
knows that.
Okay, so no, a lot of people, states don't have any money. That's what the story is all about. The unemployment compensation mandated by the feds. They borrowed money from the feds to make the payments, extended unemployment benefits. Now the first interest payments due. The total indebtedness, $38 billion. They don't have it, and they don't have the first round of payments. They've raised taxes, is what you got. You basically have a tax increase bill.
It is.
That's what your taxes just went up $192.
It absolutely is.
Now, what do you mean you've gone from dark blue to light blue?
No. Light blue to dark blue. It's getting darker.
Oh, I thought you meant it was turning less Democrat. I misunderstood.
No. More, it's great listening to you and a bunch of the people that I associate with. Your shining star, because it is depressing living here. It really is, and it's like each and every week there's something. It's another. I gotcha.
Yeah,
and you don't even know what's happening.
I know, and what ticks somebody off is people in the know understand it's on purpose.
Oh yeah,
it's on purpose. There are ways. There are ways to prevent this kind of damage from being. We've been saying for years, extending unemployment benefits was going to cost businesses. Government doesn't have any money until it goes and gets it from other people. So all these people seeing their unemployment compensation, they think, well, that was deducted from my paycheck. It's my money. No. Everybody else is paying your unemployment. Everybody else is paying for you not to work. Businesses, citizens, government's not paying it. They don't have anything. And you're self-employed, Joe, so you don't get any unemployment insurance yourself. You don't qualify being self-employed. Joe in Warren, Pennsylvania. Hi, and welcome to the Rush Limbaugh program.
Hi, Rush. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to touch on something that you mentioned in passing a minute ago about how the Democrats and the liberals fund things like teachers for a year, and then after that the funding drops off.
Yep.
I just got laid off. I was a teacher, and luckily Warren is a sort of a conservative part of Pennsylvania, so I'm lucky to be here with some real down-to-earth people. But I became a teacher. The union kind of strong-armed me into joining because they have something called pay your fair share, which is about 80% of the full dues anyway. So I thought, well, all right. So, but anyways, this past year, they laid off about a fifth of the whole staff in the county, and a portion of those people got back, and I, unfortunately, was one of the people. I'm a social studies teacher, which puts me right in the heart of, shaping young minds with real history and not what the history books kind of teach. I didn't even use the history books they gave us, but anyways.
But you got laid off.
I did get laid off, and now people come around. The head of the union goes around and starts screaming, "Oh, Tom Corbett, this guy, can you believe him? That's what you're going to get. I warned you." And I don't have any ill will towards Tom Corbett or anyone else who's trying to get this fiscal situation in order. What they should have done, and what I'm telling them that they should have done now, is that when I was hired, I should have been told that I was hired with federal money that's going to run out after a few years.
No, they're not going to tell you that, because when you get laid off, the next phase is to blame the nearest Republican for it, for cutting the budget. They can't tell you that. That'd be exposing the whole program. So that's it. That's how the whole thing works. That's the cycle. Fund something for a year. Call a press conference, talk about how great you are, how much you care, education, your kids, more teachers. After a year, the money runs out, teachers get fired. Look at those evil Republicans and those budget cuts. They don't care about education, they don't care about our kids. And the pressure's on to reinstitute the funding. Republicans go out, "Oh, no, we don't hate kids. No, we like education. No, we didn't do this." Yeah, you dastardly Republicans. You hate teachers, too. And you hate students and you hate kids. You just hate everybody. Well, and that's the cycle. And it's got to break. We got to break it. Okay. The Apple presentation is over. There is no iPhone 5. And I can't tell you how many people ask me, friends of mine. I said, I'm telling you guys, there isn't an iPhone 5. There's not going to be an iPhone 5. I'll tell you when there's going to be. Let me tell you right now when there's going to be an iPhone 5. The iPhone 5 will come out sometime next year when they're ready to put legitimate LTE 4G speeds in it for AT&T and Verizon. Right now, the networks are not rolled out enough. The chipsets for it are too big and use too much battery power. Not enough people have 4G LTE phone speed availability anyway, so that will be the iPhone 5 with legitimate LTE 4G speeds. That'll be the next iPhone 5. The next iPhone, and that'll be the 5, and it'll be sometime when it's not. It won't be until the LTE 4G networks are widely rolled out and the chips are manufactured so they don't churn the battery. That'll be the 5. Mm-hmm. All the blogs said they're going to be a cheap phone, a moderate phone, and the iPhone 5. They were all over the place. I don't know if there's a cheap iPhone 4 only, not a 4S. I am hosting the show here, Snerdly. I haven't really been able to catch everything. I do multitask, but I haven't seen any reference to a cheaper version of the iPhone 4. I think my guess is there will be 8 gigabytes. Get rid of the iPhone 3GS. Sell the iPhone 4 as an 8 gigabyte, $49 phone. They may keep the 3GS as a free phone if you get a contract with whatever carrier. But I guarantee you, a lot of people out at Apple's auditorium, they're walking out of there singing Peggy Lee's Is That All There Is? Because they were expecting. They were hoping. You should have seen these guys already had they had renderings, photos of what the iPhone 5 looked like. Much bigger screen, thinner teardrop design. All these guys are orgasming over it. The stock is down $11. It'll be back. Folks, in a style that has become synonymous with this program, we have assembled the largest online viewing audience for one of our sponsors ever, Hillsdale College. Great institution, deeply rooted in teaching the Constitution to college students. Every student at Hillsdale has to take courses on the Constitution for 4 years. This fall, their curriculum expanded to everyone assembled here with a free online course on the Constitution. You didn't have to pay anything, and you didn't have to be a student. You didn't have to enroll at Hillsdale. You just had to sign up at a website, rushforhillsdale.com. It's not a full semester course. 6 neatly contained lectures online in a series that you can watch on demand. Now, for those of you in Rio, it means anytime you want to. A new episode's available every week for 6 weeks. I think we're on week number 3 now. It was introduced just last night. So if you want an ironic observation, here's one for you. Last night's episode of the Hillsdale 6 series presentation of the Constitution defined our founding fathers' interpretation of limited government. That's a phrase that gets bandied about, but last night, the definition of limited government as used by the founders was explained. Now, you compare that definition to what our current administration is doing and then ask yourself how we've gotten where we are. There is no desire on the part of the American left for anything having to do with the original intent of the Constitution. Now, here's how you can see it. In the comfort of your own home or at work or on your iPad or on your new iPhone 4S. I think October 14th for that, by the way. But all you do is sign up online at rushforhillsdale.com. Rushforhillsdale.com. The sign up takes 30 seconds. And after that, you can pick the episode you want to watch. Some of them are an hour, some of them are less. Your professor's Dr. Larry Arnn. He's one of the most watched professors in modern history today, too, because of this. So you've never had the Constitution taught to you or presented this way. Rush for Hillsdale is the website.
Members of the media, do not panic. Your show prep will continue with Rush on the EIB network.
I want my Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
And you'll want your Al TV too.
Hi, I'm Al Gore. Remember me? Now I've got my own cable TV channel called Al TV.
Al TV, committed to being young and irreverent.
Cool, huh?
We'll discuss the issues that you care about, like global warming.
This is the sound of a cow threatening the world. They used to love that when I was vice president.
Call your cable operator and demand Al TV.
That's G-O-R-E.
Youthful and irreverent. Kind of like a radio shock jock.
With short hair.
It's Al TV.
I know you'll remember this. I'm the one who stuck his tongue down Tipper's throat at the convention.
Ew.
Tell those money-hungry cable operators you want your Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
The 1950s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
Nothing, sir.
Don't give me that. It's one of those C things.
A condom?
Don't take it out right now. I certainly hope you weren't planning to use the thing.
No, sir.
You won't now. I'm taking that C thing and destroying it.
Yes, sir, but just one thing. Don't tell my parents.
The 1990s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Yes, Jimmy. Take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
I don't have a circle.
Just as I thought. Put this in your wallet right now.
This C thing?
It's a condom, Jimmy, and you better make plans right now to use it.
Yes, sir. I won't destroy your faith in me.
Good, Jimmy, but just one thing. Don't tell your parents.
This message has been brought to you by Bungee Condoms, celebrating 40 years of progress. From being hidden in your dad's wallet to being handed out in your schools. Bungee Condoms, where quality is more than just a word. It's a slogan.
Be an army of at least one. By volunteering for duty as a DNC seminar caller, you'll receive advanced basic training from our sensitive, caring professionals.
What's your number, soldier?
1-800-282-2885.
How you gonna make it past the call screener if you don't know the number? Drop and give me 20 on the rotary dial. The rest of you, repeat after me. I love your show, and I always agree with you. And I voted for Bush.
And you'll earn promotions and medals.
Son, we're very proud of you. What's that medal for?
This one's for touch tone. This is for getting past the call screener, and this big one here is for actually talking to the host and flawlessly saying, I love your show, I always agree with you, and I voted for Bush.
Be on radio and say what we want you to say. All scripts provided by the Democratic National Committee. Help us take back our monopoly on public opinion. Volunteers especially needed from noon to 3 Eastern. Most Americans think that illegals should head back home. We used to think so too, till we realized illegals could pay 21% interest on their credit cards, just like the gringos. Introducing the all-new Bank of Amigo card. The Bank of Amigo card is the best friend an undocumented worker ever had. Packed with special features like bonus points for every day you're in our country. Good towards health care, border crossings, college education, fake IDs, and so much more. And the Bank of Amigo card is the only card endorsed by Senator John McCain.
If you need cash and can't wait till mañana, then the Bank of Amigo card is for you. Plus, the more you owe, the less likely you are to be deported.
There's no immigration check, no social security number required. Just sign your name, or anybody else's, on the dotted line.
Caramba, it's easier than sneaking in. Thanks, Bank of Amigo.
The Bank of Amigo card, because when it comes to money, we're all amigos.
Okay, I was right in everything I thought. Everything I told you snurdly was right. The 3GS phone's free with a contract. The 4 is 8 gigabytes at $49 or 49 bucks, whatever. The 4S is the only phone that the dictation stuff works on. And the 4S, so you'll have to buy a new phone to get the dictation to work. And the memory is double to 64 gigs, a 64 gig hard drive in the iPhone 4S. Plus they're adding Sprint, which everybody knew. No big deal. Here's Chris Christie, by the way. He got a question from a reporter about weight. Are you too overweight to be president? Is that a fair question to ask?
To say that because you're overweight, you are therefore undisciplined. You know, I don't think undisciplined people get to achieve great positions in our society. And so, you know, that kind of stuff is just ignorant. And the people who wrote it are ignorant people. What they do is they further stigmatize people in a way that is really irrelevant to people's ability to do a particular job. And so, you know, those are the people that we should really look down upon, are those folks.
That's going on offense. That's going on. You know, if you go back and look at pictures, we've had some pretty hefty presidents. You know, there's a time in American history where being fat was the quintessential sign of achievement and success. It was not at all a negative It was way back. I'm talking about the days even before air conditioning. It was that far ago. It was 1900s. It was a sign of status. It was. You were affluent, and so forth. Now, of course, we know that you don't have to be affluent to be a pig. To be overweight. Robert Taft was over 300 pounds. He got stuck in the White House bathtub once. Robert Taft did. He's a Republican, too. Now, Clinton didn't get stuck in the bathroom. The bathroom off the study. Yeah, in the Oval Office. But he has an interesting thing here. I don't think undisciplined people get to achieve great positions in our society. Here's this whole notion that obese people are undisciplined. There are some stereotypes that attach to being overweight, and that, sadly, is one that's never going to go away. No matter what anybody says or does, the fact that an overweight or even obese person is always going to be considered undisciplined. There's no escaping it. Now, other people are described as having outsized appetites for life in general, passions at large. But when the appetite is for food, it just has a negative connotation to it that no matter what isn't ever going to change. Look at Roseanne Barr. Look at all she accomplished. She wasn't exactly Tinkerbell, floating in there on the couch of her TV show. And Anna Nicole Smith. A number of examples here, but anyway, folks, that's it. Another exciting day. The EIB network is sadly forced to take a brief 21-hour break, 21-hour pause. We will do that. We'll come back, actually close out this program and see you again tomorrow to do it all over again, revved up, ready to go.
He makes it look easy, but it's not. Rush on the EIB network.
I want my Al TV!
And you'll want your Al TV too.
Hi, I'm Al Gore. Remember me? Now I've got my own cable TV channel called Al TV.
Al TV, committed to being young and irreverent.
Cool, huh?
We'll discuss the issues that you care about, like global warming.
This is the sound of a cow threatening the world. They used to love that when I was vice president.
Call your cable operator and demand Al TV.
That's G-O-R-E.
Youthful and irreverent. Kind of like a radio shock jock.
With short hair.
It's Al TV.
I know you'll remember this. I'm the one who stuck his tongue down Tipper's throat at the convention.
Ew.
Tell those money-hungry cable operators you want your Al TV.
I want my Al TV.
The 1950s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Jimmy, take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
Nothing, sir.
Don't give me that. It's one of those C things.
A condom?
Don't take it out right now. I certainly hope you weren't planning to use the thing.
No, sir.
You won't now. I'm taking that C thing and destroying it.
Yes, sir, but just one thing. Don't tell my parents.
The 1990s.
You wanted to see me, Principal Smith?
Yes, Jimmy. Take out your wallet.
My wallet?
What is that circle imprinted on the side?
I don't have a circle.
Just as I thought. Put this in your wallet right now.
This C thing?
It's a condom, Jimmy, and you better make plans right now to use it.
Yes, sir. I won't destroy your faith in me.
Good, Jimmy, but just one thing. Don't tell your parents.
This message has been brought to you by Bungee Condoms, celebrating 40 years of progress. From being hidden in your dad's wallet to being handed out in your schools. Bungee Condoms, where quality is more than just a word. It's a slogan.
Be an army of at least one. By volunteering for duty as a DNC seminar caller, you'll receive advanced basic training from our sensitive, caring professionals.
What's your number, soldier?
1-800-282-2885.
How you gonna make it past the call screener if you don't know the number? Drop and give me 20 on the rotary dial. The rest of you, repeat after me. I love your show, and I always agree with you. And I voted for Bush.
And you'll earn promotions and medals.
Son, we're very proud of you. What's that medal for?
This one's for touch tone. This is for getting past the call screener, and this big one here is for actually talking to the host and flawlessly saying, I love your show, I always agree with you, and I voted for Bush.
Be on radio and say what we want you to say. All scripts provided by the Democratic National Committee. Help us take back our monopoly on public opinion. Volunteers especially needed from noon to 3 Eastern. Most Americans.
Hey, looky here. Senate Republicans will force a vote on Obama's job bill. Jim DeMint says, well, the president says he wants a vote. We're going to be sure to give it to him. Now, the reason is Dingy Harry. No, who was it? Dingy Harry? There was some Democrats said, Dingy Harry, I don't want my Democrats up for re-election to have to vote on a tax increase last week. So the Republicans are thinking this. Let's force a vote. Let's put these Democrats on record. Raising taxes going into an election. That's the plan. Okay, folks, we will be back in 21 hours. Thanks for being with us today. See you tomorrow.